follow me down, head into the unknown, down the rabbit hole, where it stops no one knows. We're going down. We're going down. We're going down. We're going down. Do you dare to follow me down, down, head into the unknown?
Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing today? What a lovely Friday. Totally overcast here, but I don't mind. I don't mind at all. I want to say hi to everybody. So I've pinned Sunny and I's live stream to the pinned comments here in the live chat. And this is what we're going to watch today. Came up on my Facebook memories. This is Sunny and I's first live stream on Jack and Lily's disappearance, and I watched it, and I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of laughing at myself. Um, it's it's crazy how much I haven't changed in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways, completely different. It's wild. So, I don't know. When I was rewatching this morning, I was watching the live or the replay of the chat as well, and I didn't see any of you guys there. And I know a couple had commented on the replay in the comment section that you went back and watched it. So I know this is going to be old news, but for a lot of you, I think it's probably going to be the first time. And I do have a couple of timestamps. We'll start and stop. But I just thought it'd be really interesting because we back then we played some of the first interviews. So it's like starting from scratch where me and Sunny started from. So I thought it would be, yesterday I said I hope I have something for you tomorrow, and here we are. It's tomorrow and nothing new. Shocker. So why not go back to the beginning for real, for real? Um, and before I get started, there's something that I want to just put out there because a lot of people, like if I don't do a live stream for a day or two or sometimes a few days, a lot of you, you'll message me, you'll check in, and I do there's a lot of people that come into my chat that I consider to be friends. We have good conversations, we talk often, and I do feel a responsibility to come on and do live streams as much as I possibly can. And when I can't for a while, I do feel guilty. But some things have come up in the past, say, couple of months. Uh, some medical things that have come up with me in the last couple of months, and I'm going through tests and stuff like that. And um, I guess the fatigue and lack of sleep and just stress is starting to get to me. So I can't promise that I'm going to be doing live streams as much as, and it's not because of like I'm not sick or dying or anything like that, but it's just until I get some concrete answers, I can't make any promises. And I didn't know how to bring that to you guys, but I just wanted to, because I'm not one for making excuses. I don't like to lie. And that's what it is. So forgive me if I can't come on as often as I want to, but just know that I am thinking of Jack and Lily, and And I'm never going to give up. And there are certain things that are important to me um, surrounding this case that I will push through and do live streams on, even if I don't want to. But having said that, going forward, for the next little while, anyways, and I mean, I'll keep everybody posted if there's anything going on. I'll definitely keep everybody posted. But I wanted to get that off my chest because I don't like lying. I don't like making excuses for myself. And so just so we're all on the same page, that that's it. So hi to everybody. Like I said, I wanted to say hi to everybody, but now I've babbled for long enough. I'm going to just go straight to the bottom. It's not herpes, Mr. Hemi. It's not herpes. Um, and like I said, it's just, you know, it's a process. You go through, people, I mean, people go through tests and they have things going on, and I'm kind of at the final stages of this issue to figure out what it is. And I hope, um, like, I don't know exactly how to say it, but I mean, I should have answers in the next couple of weeks. So, having said that, like I said, I don't think the fatigue is related to it, right? I think it's just the stress and the lack of sleep and the brain fog. And yesterday was, I couldn't quite get through my replay just because, like, holy shit, was I ever like a basket case yesterday? But you know what I mean. So I wanted to, whatever. You guys know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. So we'll get to the bottom of it, and we're just going to keep on, and just know, even if I'm not online, I am still all over the Jack and Lily case and thinking of you all. And so thank you, everybody. And I do take care of myself. I drink lots of water. It's nothing like that. It's all good. It's gonna be fine. I just, like I said, until you guys know what it's like. If you don't know something, if you don't know something that's going on, and it could be stressful or whatever, like, I'm a woman and menopause, and like, I don't sleep good on the best of days, but then when you have stress and your brain won't stop, you just sleep even less. So all of a sudden you're just like a walking zombie. So um, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's just move forward with this beautiful live stream. Like I said, Facebook memories killer some days. I thought, the 1 year, um, it's not an anniversary, but you know what I mean. May 2nd was like a big day. It was a hard day, but then um coming across this, I had posted a year ago. Sunny posted the thumbnail, and then I shared it to my personal page and then on my podcast page. And so of course it came up in my Facebook memories, and I was like, holy shit, this is like the first this is like the first live stream. And like I said, I was in Mexico. I landed on May 4th, and immediately when I landed, Sunny and I started talking about this, and we started doing a little bit of digging what we could, right? So we had 3 days in there to look into stuff. And it's actually kind of amazing to me how much we actually had back then. Wasn't all correct information, but we were able to get stuff to bring to the viewers, which at that time were mostly people that were following Sunny from Delphi, and Suzanne Morphew, and Sebastian Rogers, right? So, like I said, I didn't recognize any of you guys in this chat replay, but it's still it's good to go back, especially to me. It's good to go back with these specific interviews. So I want to watch it, start and stop, start and stop. So let's just look at chat a little bit. And thank you all for your kind words. And I'm glad everybody understands. And Don't don't let that stop you from reaching out to me, because when I don't go live and I get you guys reach out to me, I mean, it reminds me that I do have a community here, and you guys do mean a lot to me. So don't let my absence stop you from reaching out to me. I do still enjoy talking to everybody. So I just want you to know, if I'm too tired, too bagged, whatever, if I reschedule a live stream or whatever, just reach out. I mean, it's good to talk, right? We can always talk no matter what. And I will keep everybody posted. So let's just, aren't doctors, many symptoms. Yeah, and the worst thing you can do is, funny story related, but funny story, but um, I've had like a battery of tests. Like I've had mammogram, MRI, I've had ultrasound, blood work, like so much blood work, and the doctor called one day last week. I was staining, and I had a phone appointment, and it's a funny story. It is because um I had the doctor on speakerphone, and Ian was listening, and she had said some words that we didn't quite understand, and I was like, okay, okay, we'll do that, whatever, whatnot, and got off the phone, and we just kind of sat there, and neither one of us had a friggin' clue what any of it meant. And Ian asked me a couple of questions. I was like, well, the only thing I know for sure is that I ain't Googling that. Like, I am just not gonna Google that. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna do the right thing here, and I'm just gonna wait. And so it's kind of a funny story because, yes, ma'am, you're completely right. If you go to WebMD for anything, you stub your toe and it turns purple, you have cancer. So stay away from that stuff. Just always wait for your doctor to tell you what's what, right? So, yeah. Lands on my oldest daughter's birthday. But she's not 1 year. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not sick. I'm tired. That's all. Tired right now. So no Google diagnosis for me. And sometimes it takes a while, it takes a long time, it takes too long, especially when you're juggling two provinces, right? So it takes 3 months for me to switch over to BC Health. And so I'm still in Alberta. So now I'm transferring my file down to Calgary so I can go see my former family doctor, just to kind of speed things up. So that let's just let's just let's just move on from that. But just know that I'm not sick. I'm just tired right now. That's all it is. Okay. Um, um it's just no, it's not my thyroid, guys. It's fine. I am literally just waiting. Um, I'm just waiting. So basically, whatever. I'm just gonna whatever. It's too cryptic. I'm just gonna tell you. I had a MRI, I had a mammogram, and now I have to go have a biopsy. So it's got nothing to do with my thyroid. It's not unknown what we're actually looking for. We just have to double check and make sure that what they've found is not cancer. And so that in and of itself is enough stress to keep me up at night. I'm losing sleep, so I'm also losing brain cells. That's all. So, um, no more, you don't have to guess. That's what it is. So let's just, I just wanted everybody to know. Okay. Oh, you have blood cancer, Susie Mac? I'm so sorry. Is that like leukemia? Is that a thing? Right? I'm so sorry. I hope you're getting good treatment where you are. So, okay. Let's, I know, okay, yes, I know my health is more important than live streams, absolutely. But like I said, I don't know anything right now. I don't know. I know that there's something, but I don't know that it's a bad something. So it's just, the C word is the most terrifying word in the human vocabulary. So when you're wondering, even though I don't believe it for a second, the worry is still there, and it doesn't matter what I do, it eats at your mind, especially at night. Everything's quiet. It happens. So let's just understand that I'm not sick. I'm not suffering. Like there's nothing going on other than I'm stressed, waiting for things to move forward. So I don't want anybody to worry about me. And the purpose of me telling you all that wasn't. And then when I started, I realized people, you want to help, you want to guess, and there is no guessing. They've found something, and now it's time to get it checked. Like get it checked, like biopsy. So and then it'll be fine. It'll be good. It'll be good. And I have lots of family around me, and Harley doesn't leave my side. He's the smartest dog ever, and it's all good. It's all good. And I did see that you're new here, Shelley. Thank you. Thank you for joining today. All day. I usually don't get personal with my shit. I just I don't like making excuses, and I don't also like feeling obligated, but I am. I do feel I do feel a sense of responsibility to Jack and Lily and to you all. So, um, hey, Mark, thanks for being here. I probably should have told you that aside. My apologies. But anyways, in the States, we don't have to wait like Canada. So it's not bad. Okay, there is a 2-week rule here in Canada. And the only reason that this is taking so long is because it's like I'm bouncing between 2 provinces, right? My doctor's in Northern Alberta, so she's good enough to do these telephone appointments. But then any tests that I've had to do, I've had to drive back to Alberta, and um, so it's terrible. And we can get into it more like on a members only live if you want to, but for now I want to move on to the Facebook memories and Sunny and I's first stream. So I'm going to start it just to kind of try to change the subject a little bit. I appreciate everybody, I really do. And I'll keep you all posted. But for now, let's move on. So like I was saying, this kills me. Okay, because 1 year ago today, I was fresh home from Mexico, loving life. I had my beachfront apartment. And now I'm in the middle of a house build, going through this crap, and we still don't have answers for Jack and Lily. So it's like, how do we get here? But I thought it'd be really, and Mark the Sark was actually one of Sunny's mods, actually, and he's very active in this chat too. That's something I saw. I'm not going to look at the live chat replay as we're doing this, but um, thank you, Roots. I I so appreciate you. Thank you so much. But yeah, no, back to the original comment about that Canada, we don't have to wait. We don't, it's my own fault for not transferring my healthcare, but we're still working on it. So it's good. So I've got a couple of timestamps, but mostly I'm just going to play some stuff out. We play a lot of the Plunder True Crime on this live stream because she went and she got all of the scanner, the dispatch audio, and she put it all together in one video, which was incredibly awesome of her to do. So it's a good live stream. It's a good live stream if I do say so myself. So I'd like to play it for a little bit and I will start and stop. Um, I think I got the rights. So first we're gonna watch it goes into some of the videos and then she plays Malaya's video. At that point, I'm gonna stop and we'll talk. And then I'm gonna jump forward just a little bit because then we start to kind of bring out, like, start and stop her interview so that Sunny and I can give our thoughts on it as we go. So, I don't know. It's it, not that this case is amusing in any way, shape, or form, but sometimes looking back at yourself is amusing some of the shit that I said. And I will be the first to admit that I could be quite the asshole. So, no need in pointing it out. I get it. But so let's watch it for a bit, okay? Okay, I'm turning 51 and I'll be perpetually 20. How old is she? I'll be 25 forever.
Right. Well, sure. Actually, that's a good age. We always say 29 whenever somebody doesn't want to give birth. It's usually 29. But anyways, okay. So let's play out this, and then we're just going to talk because there's a lot to talk about with this case. To be honest with you, yeah. Actually, let's start with that. So present. I see that StreamYard has changed a little bit here. Video file. Which one? I want, nope, I don't want to watch a video file. Hold on, I got it wrong. I want to share screen. That's what I want to do. And I want to go, I got too many tabs open. That's my problem. So this one was the latest one that came out, guys. Let's see here. Oh, can you guys see that okay? I'll make it bigger. Oh, hey, where did we go? Oh, we're here. I meant to do that one. Okay, one
So
second.
this one was posted when? And does everybody know what case this is? Like,
Well, I would like to think so.
yeah.
1 second here. Your thing's irritating me. I gotta shove you over just a little bit.
You take me
More.
off. I'm gonna keep my camera off for a couple of minutes. So
Yeah, no problem. Update layout. So if anyone doesn't know, of course, this is the case of Lily and Jack out of Nova Scotia. May 2nd is when these children disappeared, and
that's when they were reported.
reported. That's right. That's
I
when
have
they
my own theory. Yeah.
right. I was gonna say when we'll get into those theories. That's when
Yeah.
they were reported missing. So okay, so let me make this bigger and click on this one. Gotta find actually which tab I'm on. Oh, here we are. Okay.
Back home after days of searching for two children missing on the mainland. The search for 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack was unsuccessful.
I think a lot of people went home last.
Sorry, Dodie, this live stream was 1 year ago today, so May the 8th, 2025. This was that one.
Night with really heavy heart and maybe a feeling of defeat because that's all we want is successful search one way or the other.
22 volunteers from Cape Breton joined many others on the ground and in the air. Many have been involved in searches before, but when it involves children, Amanda Donovan says it hits different.
Oh, there's no worse situation. A lot of us are parents, a lot of us just as humans can't fathom that situation. And it really, the urgency and the response, I think, speaks to how affected everybody was by that.
Nova Scotia RCMP announced Wednesday it was scaling back the search for the two missing children after 6 days of scouring the heavily wooded areas surrounding their home in Lansdowne Station.
They are very thick. There's a lot of the hurricane damage from Fiona a couple of years ago, and we've had teams struggling to get through areas.
Amy Hansen is with Colchester Ground Search and Rescue. She says searchers have covered a lot of ground the last few days and feels the area has been thoroughly searched.
We are exhausting people, and we're starting to see more injuries coming back the last couple of days, and it's hard terrain.
Back in Sydney, Amanda Donovan can't help but think about the many volunteers that came together from many areas of the province with the same goal in mind.
I think that having such a big operation and seeing everybody work so cohesively together really speaks to the professional nature. Even though majority of us are volunteers, we are trained volunteers, and that's what we do best. So it was really nice to see all of that come together.
Kyle Moore, CBC News, Sydney.
Six days after 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan disappeared from their home in rural northeastern Nova Scotia, the RCMP announced today their search for the two siblings is being scaled back, saying there's little chance they are alive. The CBC's Blair Rhodes joins us now live from the search area in Pictou County with the latest. Blair.
Tom, the mood here was solemn as the searchers were told that despite their best efforts, they were scaling back the search. Before the news conference, RCMP told Jack and Lily's family, their stepfather, Daniel Martel, said he's not giving up.
Still holding out hope. I don't know why they didn't find anything from Jack's pull-up to her backpack or any of her belongings at all. They just haven't found anything.
And while the family may have some hope, the police say that after 6 days of often extreme conditions, the children were still in the woods, they wouldn't be alive. So now they said it came down to a question of survivability.
And a number of factors would have to take consideration, and they would, based upon scientific information that they have, to deem when is that time has to come, and that is now. And a lot of those factors come into play would be the age of the missing persons, the weather, how long it's been, what area has been covered. So at that point, they have to make a decision on that.
Now, from the very beginning, they described this disappearance as suspicious. That's standard in missing persons cases like this. Today, we were asking the police, because the major crime unit has been part of this investigation since the weekend, as to whether they could elaborate on that. But they didn't want to answer questions about whether they had detected any criminal activity in connection with this.
When somebody goes missing and we become engaged as any police officer, not just major crime, we will look at all the details and make considerations on the information we have, right? When it comes to a missing person, we have to automatically consider those, are there people that have different charter implications, things like that. So we will automatically start to consider what evidence is pointing us towards a suspicious in nature. Again, I can't comment more than that, but every missing person case, we would approach it from the same process. A methodical collection and review of information with decisions based on time.
Now, when police say they're scaling back, what they mean by that is they will be going back over some of the areas they've already searched, taking another look to see if there's anything they missed. Tom?
All right, Blair, thanks for that. That is CBC's Blair Rose reporting live.
Okay, wait a second here. I'm back. I forgot I had to turn on Streamlabs. Totally forgot about that. And so let's see if it will work. Let me see if I can get it going now. Rusty. I just, because I usually just assume that it's always on, but sometimes it turns itself off. There we go. Streamlabs, welcome. Okay, so so do you have anything to say about what we just heard now? Because the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the mother's interview, and then I'm gonna play a few of his, and then we're gonna discuss that. But is there anything from this you wanted to talk about now?
So not really talk about, but just to clarify, and to be clear, when people go missing, it is extraordinarily uncommon for law enforcement to come out and say the likelihood that they're still alive is low after 6 days and that they're scaling back the search. That's very uncommon anywhere, but here it's not normal for here either. But basically what they did, from my understanding, is they asked all the volunteer searchers, because there was a couple hundred out there for 6 days. They asked that those searches stop. They've got a more methodical group of RCMP and law enforcement officers that are going to be focusing on specific areas based on the children's ages, the terrain, like the search lead said there, Hurricane Fiona that went through last year. There's a lot of destruction in the wooded area, and like that stuff doesn't get cleaned up over time, right? Just kind of let nature take care of itself. So it's a very rough area. So they don't want hundreds of people in there anymore. They want to scale it back. So it's a little misleading when they say we're going to scale back the search effort. It doesn't mean that they're trying any less. It just means they want less people in there so they can focus better.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And the thing we will talk about too is that obviously they would have issued an Amber Alert if they truly felt that the children were abducted. That if they really felt that that was the line that they were going to go down, whether that is the no, we don't. Well, let's just call him stepdad for the sake of it, okay?
Yeah.
For them. We don't know, right? We don't know the answer to this. And honestly, I'm just going to let it play out. We're going to definitely talk about red flags and our thoughts about certain things for sure. But just going to let it play out. But are they pushing a narrative? Is that what they were trying to push to us about an abduction? Again, regardless, there would have been an Amber Alert, I believe, don't you think, Charmaine, if if in fact they felt truly that there was an abduction going on.
In Canada, so they're very strict on the required criteria to issue an Amber Alert, and if they don't have all of it, chances are, I believe it's the Governor General that has to give the go-ahead to issue that Amber Alert. He will not if all of the criteria is not met. Having said that, if we look back at the case of Tori Stafford, there was no Amber Alert issued for her when they had all of the criteria. So they learned a hard lesson there. And then there was another case, Holly Jones in Toronto, where they didn't have all of the criteria and they put out an Amber Alert. So, and that was like directly after Tori Stafford. So I feel like they were, and I mean, it's good. I think they should put an Amber Alert out anytime a child goes missing, no matter what.
I think so too.
But I think that
Regardless.
lessen their strictness on those criteria for Holly Jones. And then since then too, we've seen a number of Amber Alerts, but there's usually a description of a car or a person or something. And in this case, the only thing that they had were the parents' story, which I think that everybody in chat, once they see these initial interviews, will probably see where we're going to be going with our opinions. So.
Yeah. So well, and another thing we're going to talk.
Stop. So interesting to me. I mean, it is good, and it's also kind of emotional. Am I wrong? Going back and seeing those first interviews from the early days, we weren't even. Sunny wasn't even sure what Daniel's name was. You know, coming up, I think she asked me a couple of times, and we were totally mispronouncing Malaya's name. And obviously, some of my ideas were wrong and were confirmed wrong by the RCMP, like the CCTV video that ended up coming out. But at this point in the live stream, Sunny plays Malaya's interview all the way through. And so this is the part that I want to kind of skip through and get to her where we start talking about what our thoughts were back then. And let's just listen to this and see how we've all evolved, because I think even though this particular group of people weren't following us in the live chat for the first stream ever, obviously, I think we all kind of have the same opinions back then of Malia's first interview, and we'll see how they align with what we think now. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I think it's a good. I think when I started my channel and my purpose was to go back to day one, I think that this would have been a good place to start instead of going back to the dispatch audio and doing that. Just let's talk about what we thought first and then kind of go backwards from there. Do you know what I mean? So anyways, I've fast forwarded now. Malaya's part should be done in seconds, and then we start kind of giving our opinions as she goes through the interview. If you guys don't want to watch that part, just speak up in chat. I'll pause it and we'll skip forward to Daniel's part too. But I mean, it is interesting stuff. It is interesting stuff to see what we thought back then as opposed to now.
Because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't want to go through that another night without them.
Okay. Okay, Charmaine. Now I'm going to play it again, but I'm going to stop it this time on things that. Okay, so I consider the mother's interview myself to be just a bunch of red flags listening to her. Like honestly, it's weird, it's strange. The emotions don't match how one talks to me. I'm not saying that the mother has done anything. I'm just talking about how I feel about the interview and how I took it. So, I mean, so just give your blurb there on what you felt about her interview, and we'll go back over it to those certain spots that I really thought are just, well, the whole thing is just weird, actually.
Yeah, so you know how when you talk to a dog and you're high pitched or something, or they're really interested, they go, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my first reaction, like what? But then I watched it again and again and again, and I got to tell you, it infuriated me. The amount of bullshit in that, it infuriated me, and I have got some strong opinions about it. It's
Yeah.
just it's flag after red flag after red flag.
And that's just it, right? Because I mean, all of us automatically we're judgmental on things, no matter what, regardless.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, I didn't know, I knew very, very little about the case, and I hadn't talked to Daniel, and I hadn't gotten any background on any of these people, and I was just, I don't know, this just a bunch of bullshit. Like, how did I feel like I knew that enough to be able to say it? I mean, it wasn't my channel. I didn't have the same, I guess, level of accountability that I feel now on my own channel. I guess that plays into it, but oh, wow. Sorry, let's continue.
Judgmental on maybe this man's looks, stuff like that. Maybe thinking that he's just some dumb hillbilly type of, person, maybe lacks some brain cells that don't go to the top. Who knows, right? But we automatically kind of have our perception. When I watched her interview here, it honestly, it infuriated me as well. And on top of that, we learned that there was some sort of um, argument that happened where apparently Mahela was, told to get off the property, and she went to her mother's house in Wentworth there, which is an hour away from where the babies are. And these are her children. Um, he's doing the interviews, but we're gonna get into this. She's done one interview. They were supposedly told not, to speak to, the media and stuff like that. But there's just things that are rubbing me the wrong way, kind of like with Sebastian Rogers' case, with the Proudfoots. These things that just don't make sense. They're not adding up. The words are strange. The actions are strange. So I'm just gonna play the first part and then you can tell me when to stop it too. If I don't stop it and you hear something that you want to talk about, but I'm pretty sure we're going to kind of talk about the whole thing of this interview with the mother.
Being as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go.
Okay. They're not the type of kids we tell them. That was a strange sentence.
Yes.
Like, meaning normally you would say they're not the type of kids to go outside if we don't let them, right? Like they're not the type. But her whole sentence was they're not the type of kids, and then it's kind of like it goes off in a different direction on how she says it there. Hold on a second. 1 second, Charmaine. Let me just play that one more time.
In and out of sleep, and they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside.
Yeah. We're gonna
I don't want to interrupt, but Gren, thank you so much. And your friendship means a lot to me as well. Just so everybody knows, Gren is a rock when it comes to advice and support behind the scenes. He's a great person. So thank you so much, Gren.
type of kids. We tell them not to go outside. It just the way she said it just seemed really strange. It didn't run.
She's making I don't even know what it's not making excuses, but she's already defending the fact that the kids got outside, just somehow opened this heavy ass sliding door that would not be silent. I don't care.
I've never had a sliding door that's ever been silent. Okay, I got sliding door in this apartment. I have sliding doors on pretty much everywhere I live. Nothing silent about a sliding door.
Has everybody seen a picture of the property just so they can see how old and dilapidated this trailer is? So it's not a new high-tech silent sliding door.
Well, yeah,
The
most
thing
of
probably rumbled the living room as you're opening it, and you're not going to convince me that a 6-year-old little girl got this door open. You're never going to convince me of that. And then shut it behind her. Come on. Come on. They're not the type of kids we tell to not go outside, which doesn't make sense. Well, no, what she meant is they're not allowed to go outside without supervision. She says it later, actually, that they're allowed to go outside, but only if they're with them. And that brings me to my next point, is what 6-year-old is going to get up and take her little brother in a pull-up outside, not even just outside, but past the gate into the woods when they're never allowed outside by themselves. Most kids would, even if they did venture to go into the yard, they're not gonna take their little brother into the woods against their parents' wishes for the first time ever. It could have happened, but you're never going to convince me that they were the type of parents that were watching their kids and making sure they were safe. And I mean, it's my opinion, but like, what a fucking loudmouth, am I right? Like, how do you people even watch me? Like, I swear to God. I mean, no judgment. I was still, baby YouTuber, which I still don't consider myself a real YouTuber, but some of the opinions are pretty strong considering we didn't have all the information that we have now, but a lot of it still stands true. It really, really does, even though I'm a little bit harsh and I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm even maybe a little more harsh than Sunny is back then. Um, so kudos to Sunny for being so mild and respectful back then. Much respect. Anyway, moving on. It's just so infuriating. But like I said, if they're out there, they're talking, they're telling their story, they're obviously not true crime people, which whatever, we're the weirdos, I guess. But if they were true crime people, they would know how ridiculous all of that sounds.
correct. Right. But they're not. But we are.
Well, for all I know, she is, right? Like maybe she is, and maybe she's legitimately missing her children. But it's just really hard for me to believe that 6-year-old sweet little girl opened that door silently, got her brother out the house, closed it behind them, and then took him out into the woods. Come on. I feel like I want to talk about this just for a second, Roots, because you are so right. The information, take away the court docs. We didn't have all of Daniel's conversation and comments and all this stuff, but the factual information, that is so true, right? But what can we take from that? Because our opinions have evolved. Um, somewhat, not completely, but somewhat. So I just, I don't know. I don't know what to make of this friggin' co-host. She's kind of an asshole. Like I said, it's not like it's funny, but it gave me a good giggle this morning watching myself, and I was like, what did I just say? And where did I get that from? But um, again, I think very valuable to go back and listen. And we haven't even started Malaya's okay, she starts here right away, but anyways, that's a very good point, Roots. Very good point. And we didn't have Durwood. That's correct. We didn't have Durwood until on Sunny's channel. I don't know when he first appeared on Dolly. I don't remember that, but that is the first appearance that he came into the case on Dolly Vision. But I do remember it was after my messenger conversation with Daniel, which was on May 30th, that messenger. So we had nothing else until the end of May, and then people started coming out, and the conversation I had with Daniel, and I put it out on YouTube, the screenshots kind of changed things. And to me, that's where, and I've told you all this before, I hold a significant amount of guilt for the circus that things are, and I know it's not because of it, but I feel like we were standing in the middle of the circus, just, letting the clowns in. No offense, but anyway, let's continue.
Mhm.
Come
I
on.
know. You know, exactly. I mean, it's not making sense. And, do we know that because we don't know this. Do we know it was actually Friday that they went missing?
No, and I don't think it was. I'm saving because no.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, so we'll get into that. So let's play a little bit more. So, and like, hi, Bebopalula. Is that like, that reminds me of Grease, Bebop, Bebop. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing there. But anyways, play a little bit more here, and that is a weird sentence. Sentence was strange. It wasn't a running fluent sentence. It would, just like you said, they're not the type of kids, and then we tell them not to go outside. That reminds me of, to me, that kind of starts off reminding me of someone. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, right? And I just want to be fair to my own thoughts here, is that it just reminds me of somebody telling a story. Thanks, husband. That's my Timo order that just came flying through the door. Okay. Okay, but let's play a little bit.
On their own. We always make
Sorry, I don't want to keep making light, but how ironic is that Sunny is the big Timu person. She would get shipments all the time and bring it up. We had no idea that Timu would be such a big side joke in this thing. You know what I'm saying? Like all the way to well, Janie and her Timu, and then I heard that Jordan got some of those deadly weapons off of Team U, just stuff like that. It's kind of ironic. And you may have put the circus tent, but you definitely weren't the one who brought the clowns, monkeys, and tigers. Right? But we kind of gave them all a platform, And like I said, I know it's not. I know we're not the ones to blame, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Did I say that wrong, Gren? Timu? Timu? Is it Timu? Timu? Either way, whatever. Let's continue this. And before we go forward, I would like to say my opinions do not stand completely the same as they did back then. This is just looking back, how things change, how people evolve with more information, even though maybe not factual roots, but more knowledge, more information, and more things to go off of. So let's. I'm the most judgmental person and the most skeptical person I've ever met. And so maybe I'm judging myself too hard, but I really feel like I really, really overstepped a lot of boundaries back then. Anyways, let's keep going.
sure that we're out there with them, watching them, and they happen to just get out that sliding door.
All right.
Couldn't get out that sliding door. And one more thing real quick. What is it with parents that have missing kids? They always have to say something about I miss them being in their bed. Like, hello, Chris Watts. You know what I mean?
I know, right? Well, again, for me, I always just look like everybody, right? You're trying to look for the genuineness, the authenticity of when they're talking. And if what they're doing and saying and their actions are that of what you would expect. Now, I granted that people can act different ways for sure, but there's still usually certain, things, words that people kind of say. Like, these are two children, not one, even two, right? That have supposedly gone missing. The state of how she's talking, it seems so strange to me. I would be at this point bawling my eyes out beyond belief. I I would be begging people for help. This interview is strange, like it's concocted. That's what it reminds me of. Somebody that has concocted what to say, and it's just so strange to me. It just rubs me the wrong way fully, to be honest with you. And I don't personally find, and I'm sorry to say this, Mahela, but just on listening, your actions and your words and your emotions and what you're saying comes off as something contrived that you have to think about. And that's why you're saying these weird things about, them being talkative and, like, and continuously talking about that, to just the whole interview. Uh, to be honest with you, it just strikes me as odd for sure. What's that?
And they happen to just get out that sliding door and we can't.
Right. So going back to this part, right? Basically, we always look after them. Yep. We're the best parents ever in that shit shack rundown place. Okay. You know how
Get out that door.
they just happen to get out that door, silent door, of course. Now, no offense, but they live like a fucking like shit show. Okay. Their property is like a garbage dump, basically. Well, I've seen worse, but you know how you are who your friends are, which is, when you look at somebody's, say, Facebook, and you can see exactly kind of, again, whoever your friends are, is typically that's your personality as well. And that's why you have friends, type of thing, like that, good or bad. That's what kind of this reminds me of, is that when you see that home on the outside, what do you think that home looks like on the inside? I personally think that these kids have seen less time at school than they have actually been in school, to be honest with you.
And the
Because
fact that they have two small children, okay, two small children that they think might have slight autism are up by themselves at 10 o'clock in the morning, and the boy still has his 4-year-old boy still has his dirty pull-up on. I mean, it just gets better and better. Just gets better and better.
right. I'm gonna probably think this, Charmaine. So, Daniel, so I believe that the reason why they actually know what, say, the children were wearing is because they went to bed in those clothes. You guys think so? You think so?
It's quite possible, but I mean, once we play the video out
Yeah.
again, I mean, she has this whole scenario of, well, if the children never go outside without me, and I'm just spitballing here as a mother, I
Mhm.
cannot relate to this, but if my children never go outside by themselves, ever, I don't think the first scenario that would come into my head is that, oh, they happened to get out the door and they were playing outside. I would panic. I would think somebody came in my house and took my kids. I would
Absolutely.
not have a calm, well thought out, not even well thought out, to be honest with you, but story about how they happened to get out the door and the door is silent. And I mean, it's just all kinds of wrong.
Mhm. Well, like I said, the children were not at school. Like, so Wednesday was a day off of school. But then they were supposedly sick on the Thursday and the Friday. So they had only gone to school on the Monday or the Tuesday. But I can guarantee you, Charmaine, that these children probably have a ton of sick days. You know what? I'm sorry. And this might be being a stereotypical thing, but when people live like this, okay, usually, again, it's honestly more times or not, the children aren't in school. Mother's probably too lazy. Well, obviously, they don't know how to take care of a yard very well, and it just looks like a shit shack. And that's from the front side. So,
Yeah.
my perception of this is I'm not saying that the children, I don't know, weren't loved. Who knows? You know, because we don't know the situation going on here. But there's definitely a lot of red flags, especially when it comes to the mother. Okay, more so than the stepdad or her partner. That was a weird part of that interview as well. So that's the front side, and then the back side will show you quickly. Image. Let me just grab that, and then okay, that's the back side, right? That's the sliding glass door that doesn't make any noise. Right. Come on now. Unless you're WD-40ing that sucker. You know?
And I mean, if you zoom in, there's like there's a mattress in the yard. There's a stove or something on the step. Yes, there are children's toys strewn about. But that, like I said, you can't tell me that that's a silent sliding glass door on that rickety ass deck. You don't hear them. And they are tiny children, but like I said, if they're not normally allowed to go outside without parental supervision, you're never going to convince me that she just took her brother out that door, closed the door behind them,
Hear it when it
and
opens.
trucked her out into the bush. You'll never convince me.
You know, these kids did not go out into those woods and just disappear. Those children, they would have been found. Come on now. So kind of like when she speaks, right? And I know I did hear another person say this, but it's not exactly rocket science here. When she speaks, it's like, here, you know what? We take care of these kids, you know,
Yeah,
we're really
they're
great at,
thinking for parenting.
you know, but just this particular day, they just, and then of course, I mean, as we get into it, well, we'll play a little bit more again on there.
And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, like it was quiet.
And they were outside playing. We weren't aware of it at the time.
And we get up and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside.
Okay, well, let's just stop that there. So that struck everyone, I'm sure, that heard that when it was like, so how did you learn later? How do you know that Lily had a strawberry knapsack, was wearing a strawberry knapsack, you know, like I said, I'm gonna kind of go with my gut intuition on this one that those children were wearing the same clothes that they were wearing the night before, and that's exactly how they knew. But the knapsack, obviously, you know. But so what? You put on a knapsack, you can go play in the backyard. You're gonna just slide on out there for something you've never done before, and then on that time that you never go outside by yourself, children, then you're gonna just hop off into the freaking bushes, the trees there, and then just disappear like magic, just disappear. So, you know what? So, again, it's one thing to go outside. Okay, they were outside, you know, found, da 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 da. They don't normally do that, but no, it's kind of like Sebastian Rogers. Yeah. All of a
But I
sudden,
think this is a little even different than Sebastian because, I mean, they want us to believe that these little small babies
Mhm.
just happened to get out, blah, 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 silent door, whatever. But then went far enough out that they either got lost or, I mean, there's no traffic driving in the bush. Maybe they went the other way to the main road and somebody picked them up. But I mean, but how do you come up with that exact? They happened to get outside and they were playing outside, but we weren't aware of it at the time. Like, how do you? Your
Right.
children are missing. How are you concocting the scenario that's
That's
so thin?
That's just it. Look, listening to her speak on top of what she's saying, I'm not seeing this devastated mother that's just broken down and bawling. This just happened when
Yeah,
she
this is like the next day. This is like,
okay. Yeah,
but in my opinion, she's had 1, 2, 3, at least 3 to 4 days to come up with this, in my humble opinion.
right. And that's saying that the children actually like so again, so depending on who lived all on that property there, whether the brother lived on the property and the grandma or something like that, depending on
Step
how step grandma lived on the like so only the police and close perhaps people that are in the know would know when was truly these children last seen. Was it Friday? Was it
Yep.
Thursday?
The last proof of life was at school on Tuesday.
On
And
Tuesday?
I mean, I haven't even
we know.
heard for
Mhm.
sure that they were at school Monday and Tuesday,
Right.
you know?
Uh, I mean, on God, where did I read that? I don't know. I've read too much now. See, listen
Yeah.
to too much, read too much.
All
But
came close together at some point.
yeah. So here we have these great parents with this shit shack of a house that you know on the inside is, and again, let's just call a spade a spade. You know that the inside is as big of a piece of shit on the inside of this home as it is the outside, okay? Because you can tell at the end of the day, they're slobs. Simple as that, regardless. And honestly, when I see homes like that, it's kind of like the Summer Wells case. I feel so bad for the children, to be honest with you. You know, because you know, like when she says that they well, and then, well, actually, you know what, we'll get into that when we come across that part about the whole autism spectrum stuff and blah blah. But anyway, okay, we'll play a little.
Everywhere yelling for them, and I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids.
Now, wasn't it said that they were nonverbal and then all of a sudden they're verbal?
No, she said from the beginning they're verbal, and that's when it comes
Yeah.
out. She has slight autism. It's not diagnosed, but they just have problems keeping up with the kids at school.
It's just
She's autistic. What?
Appreciate
like, you know what's strange to me is that, like I said, this interview is the next day. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's almost like we're listening to this, honestly, this big segment, which it struck me as odd too. And I'm pretty sure like other people out there, she's just going on like they're go lucky, you know. And we know this expression is happy go lucky, but they're go lucky, you know, and like meaning for me, I would be sitting there going, please, please, if anyone can help, please, sis, blah, 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 and talk about the main things. But, yeah, but it's almost like when someone's talking about how much they talk, as if they're associating that with an abduction. That basically they'll just talk with anybody. They're just so happy go lucky that they're just going to talk with anybody. Let me just keep talking about how much they like to talk. And let me say these odd things about they haven't been diagnosed, but they're on the spectrum and they can't keep up with school. Why is that? Chances are it's because they are not getting the proper schooling because they're probably homesick more than they're actually at school. And they're probably falling behind because they don't have this structure at home. And that's how I see that. But let's pull out the but they haven't been diagnosed, but and I think that they both suddenly fall on the autism because at school they're not keeping up with the others. What do you think about that? That's me, Batty, that one.
Oh, that just, it boils my blood because when you don't just label your kid autistic, you have to take them to a doctor and have them tested and that doesn't excuse you from being a parent. So if they're autistic, then why are they up by themselves at 10 a.m.? You know what I'm saying? Why are they up by themselves at 10 a.m. while you're in bed sleeping with your boyfriend and the baby? Come on.
Well, apparently at 8 a.m., right? Remember at 8 a.m. that she's in and out of sleep. And then I think it was the deception detective guy that said like, well, how would she know that he's sleeping if she's sleeping? How would she know? Type of thing. I mean, there's obviously an argument that went on, which
Yeah.
so what that argument was about, because in these cases it's easy to play the blame game. But if they're together, at the same time, mind you, honestly though, when a child's missing and you're just distraught and stuff inside like a true person, honestly, there's going to be some blame placing regardless, because it just kind of happens a little bit most times that, like, because you feel guilty that you
Well,
weren't.
in her family, like her parents that didn't live in the area, they almost automatically blamed stepdad. And that's why stepdad's mom said, you need to get off my property. And so
Right.
she left.
Yeah.
But you're right, Bebop. She's not blaming the kids, but she's excusing her poor parenting and defending herself for no reason. No different than Kitty Proudfoot. Tell us the truth. Tell us what happened, because no matter how terrible, neglectful of a parent you are, it would be better than us sitting here thinking that you've done something to your kids.
Absolutely. Just
Well,
spit it out, the truth.
out. You messed up. You slept. You left your kids open. You left the door open. I've heard that there was a big party Thursday night. Don't even get me started there. I mean, just tell the truth. If you want to find your kids, tell us what really happened.
Well, but this is the thing, okay? So let's say, regardless of, okay, party or not party, there, not sure, but regardless, is that to sit here and think that these children, like I said, just, that they don't ever go out and they just wandered off into these woods, and that they want us, it's like a hard story to even try to comprehend that they're trying to be like, well, we were just in and out of consciousness and blah, 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 blah. Meaning, even if they were trying to cover up the fact that they were being neglectful and think that the children, like, let's say that they lied about, because they knew that CPS would be involved or whatever you want to call it. What's it called in Canada? Same thing?
Yeah,
That's right. CPS.
yeah.
And so, but that's still, so if the children did wander off, they would have been found. I'm sorry. They would have been found. Considering, right? There was about a 20-minute span there. So you think that these 6-year-old, 4-year-old, what?
20 minutes, my ass, whatever.
Right. I know. Right. But they ain't going that far.
No,
No.
not with their little 4 and 6-year-old little legs through Hurricane Fiona land. Like they're not going that far.
Oh, yeah. Actually, let's play a little bit more again.
Like just real quick, she says that we got up and we were running around and calling their name, but stepdad says that he got up and he called their name, but he got in his car and he went and drove around. So which is it? Did you guys, which is it? Who? She said we were running around looking, calling her name. He says he got in his car and he went looking.
That was another thing. One of that kind of like, what's it called? Never a truer word, or that.
Never a truer word. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what he was saying. Like the word we, like she constantly uses the word we, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, this whole interview, it truly just, honestly, out of all the interviews, for him, I want to lean towards he's being the most authentic, but because they keep attaching themselves for being in the same place together, that's the part that's throwing me off here, because it's like listening to her is like listening to somebody tell a story that doesn't have true emotion behind it. That's the way it reflects to me as I'm listening to it. It's like, basically, yeah. And she goes on to these long-winded things about how talkative they are. And I'm just like, what? Like, why are you still like, meaning we're doing an interview here. And yet, usually the news, right, will clip out stuff and, edit it and all that stuff. But she must have been talking about this for a bit or something, because it's a big part of this interview. And I'm just like,
Sorry, have I said yet on the live stream, because I do say it, that they lost the scent at the end of the driveway. So it definitely did not come from Daniel at this point, because we hadn't heard from Daniel yet. So I really want to know where that came from. So it wasn't in any of the police press releases. And then Brad Wong the other day in my chat said that one of the officers told him that when they were out searching, but we didn't know that at this point. Remember, they went missing on the 2nd, and even if this is day 9, 7 days. Did it come from the radio traffic? Interesting. Maybe I'll go back and listen to Plunder tonight. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I might have actually asked Daniel to clarify that for me. Whatever. Let's keep listening. I'm starring comments so we can go back and talk about this, but it is, like I said, this case is not funny. Where we're at today is not funny, but looking back at Sunny and I and some of the shit that we said, no offense, Janie, Daniel, everybody else that we're just totally bashing. It's a little, I feel bad, but it's funny. Come on. If you can't laugh at yourself, what can you laugh at? So let's continue.
why are you keep telling us how talkative they are? Are you trying to associate this with abduction? That because they're talkative and easy to talk to, and the children will just talk to anybody, that they'll just
One of them suggested they would get in a car with a stranger at one point here. So, I mean, that's absolutely what she's trying to, she's just throwing us a grain, and hopefully we're going to eat it up and it'll grow that they must have been abducted.
well, that's what it feels like.
Absolutely.
Like, that's how it feels like it's scared. Okay, we'll play a little bit more.
The huge search effort going on right now. But we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued, not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me saying that they weren't aware, someone else let them know that they were missing, and it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm.
Okay, that whole thing. That it's raining today, but today's sunny, whatever. So hopefully they're feeling warm. Really?
So,
That's a weird thing to say.
yep.
Yep.
I mean, it doesn't get any better. It really doesn't. The only thing she said that I agree with completely was that the Amber Alert to alert everybody that there are missing kids should be done immediately. But
Right.
again, in my opinion, far too late.
Yeah. But I just want to play that little part again because it just bugs me.
Probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all
I'm hopeful that they're feeling warm. I hope that they're just snuggled up next to a mushroom and a bunny in the woods there. Just hopeful. Or hopeful that the person that abducted them is keeping them warm.
Although I'm not gonna go look for them.
Weird, just weird.
Filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home.
This is the next day, and she's saying, we're just all filled with pain and sorrow.
Where's the fear? Where's the
Where-
work?
Where's the worry? Absolutely. This is not the reaction I would expect someone to look like on the next day of speaking. Again, it just comes off as disingenuous, that it's just contrived, and that she's just trying to say words like, you know, she's just trying to use words to make it seem like, like I really care, but it's just not coming across as a parent that's just devastated that these two children are missing. We're just all feeling pain and sorrow. I've learned to control my emotions, so don't judge me type of thing. No, at all. No.
And isn't that common for like mothers, parents of missing kids to, ask for help?
Ask for help.
When they get on the news, you're asking for help. You're not saying we're so filled with pain and sorrow. And tell me one time where she says she loves her kids. She misses her kids other than I want them home.
Mhm.
Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal, and
There we go
they
again.
do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school, and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful. But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds.
Now, that's true, right? I mean, the one thing that's true that doesn't mean she has meaning behind it, but yes, our minds instantly, when Haley and Matthew were in the store, and Haley was a little bugger when she was a baby, and Matthew, she was 6 months younger than Matthew, and she was a freaking redheaded headache, I'll tell you that much. And I took him to the store, and I had the double stroller going. Haley would slide out of her the little strap that keeps her in the stroller, and then she takes off. And well, I'm getting her. Matthew gets out of the stroller. Next thing I know, all of a sudden they went and they hid in the clothes rack, one of those round circle things. You want to talk about instant panic and fear? Your head goes right instantly to like the worst case scenario, like, oh my God, where are they? Did somebody take, that's what you're instantly. So yeah, a true emotion of somebody that's children that are missing. You are an instant, like me, Yeah, you're trying to search around, but it's instant fear. It's instant.
Sorry, there's a lot more talking, how we can go on and on and on. So fast forward it a little bit, and here's where we start with the Daniel part. I want to get as close as I can. But like I said, I am starring your comments, so we will definitely go back to them, okay? Yeah. It's sad, it's frustrating, it's kind of funny, but it brings you back. It really, really brings you back. And I suggest, like, if this wasn't the first live stream, like if you've been following this case for quite some time, try to remember the first stream that you watched on the case, whether it was on Sunny's or anywhere else, and try to find that stream and go back and watch it and try to remember what you were thinking when first seeing that. And it really does bring you back. It's wild. It's crazy. I don't know why this is buffering, but I'm gonna hit play.
And I don't want to go through that another night without them.
The last 3 days are
So that was really the end of it. And like, so the end part there was, and basically, I don't want to go through another night without them in their beds. And then Charmaine, like we all know, Christopher Watts, as he's got that smirk and that stupid story going on and stuff like that. You know, they're just not going to be able to see, my kids in their bed anymore. So as for Michaela, she's left.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Um, if you're in Wentworth and that's an hour away, like meaning to me, here we have a stepdad that isn't even their biological dad. Why is it seeming like he's doing everything that he can to talk to the news, to talk about taking a polygraph test, a lie detector test there, and giving all the information that he can to be helpful. And mother seems to be nowhere to be seen. And yet she has the strangest interview between the two of them. So what was that fight about, to be honest with you? So it's almost like the way I'm seeing it is that, you know, that here you have someone that is showing that he's going to the news. He's talking. He's not avoiding. He's talking. And he's basically saying, look, come on, lie detector test. Basically all those people on social media and her family is accusing him. Or maybe they're accusing the wrong person. But what stops me, Charmaine, a little bit there is because when they're talking as if they're together the entire time. And
Mhm.
so how did these children suddenly go missing then if they're together, right? And then they're not found in the woods. They're not found anywhere. But if they were in those woods, I'm not believing the abduction. There would be an Amber Alert. If they truly felt like this child, these children were abducted, to me, that I would think that an Amber Alert would be going out for sure. But I don't think that they believe that.
So, I mean, you're married. Have you ever had an occasion where you were sick and you couldn't sleep and you got up and husband woke up the next day and had no idea that you had such a rough night because he slept so solid?
Absolutely happens all the time, actually.
I mean, the fact that they're saying that they were together, okay,
Right.
and we're saying they're dozing in and out of sleep, but maybe they weren't.
Right.
Maybe one of them was sleeping solid. I don't buy that. And if something like that happened, I think it would have been on the Wednesday night with my theory.
Yeah,
But
go ahead. Actually, Charmaine, I need to be right back. Do you want to talk about your theory about what you're thinking about it all?
yeah, well, yeah, sure.
Thank you.
My brain went, and I can't remember what case it was, but it was something very recently, and it's happened many times before, where because I heard that there was a big party there, and then another neighbor said that she didn't even know that there were kids living in that house, that it was a drug house. Um, so being that there was a party, I thought my first instinct was that somebody probably left drugs out and the kids probably maybe ate them and overdosed. And one or both of the parents woke up and saw them and panicked and did what stupid people do when accidents happen, even though it's terrible accident, stupid accident. But I think that could have something that could hold some water, really, that they had an accidental overdose. Shockingly, I think the parents might leave stuff sitting around. Um, so I mean, that's just where my mind went. Do I think that they maliciously did something to the kids? I don't. And with Daniel, I think that his emotion is genuine and he's putting in real effort to try to find something. But that could be because he knows where they are and he's staying within the search area where they are not and he knows it. Or he's not the one that found them and maybe she got them or something. And then the other scenario that I'm sure the police are looking into is if his brother lives on the property with his mom, with their mom in that RV that we saw in that one picture. I don't know, kind of person is he? Would he have done something to get her? I mean, I've also heard that he doesn't live there. He was just at that party and passed out at his mom's RV that night, but I mean, I don't know. That's where my twisted mind goes. What about you guys? Dog senses? Dogs?
And Charmaine, I'm just gonna play out the rest of his, because the rest of it is his videos. So I'm just gonna play that out, okay? As people can answer.
How long is it?
I don't know, it doesn't show me.
You're gonna be back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll talk later, but I got to the bathroom.
yeah, go get it. Yeah, go ahead. I'll just play it out.
Very stressful. I mean, ever since the Friday morning, when we noticed that the children were gone, immediately jumped in the vehicle, surveyed all the areas, many dirt roads, many culverts as I could, and waited for the police to get there. I'm out here still searching, still fighting to try to find them. That's all I can do.
The message is still, if anyone knows anything.
If anybody knows anything, just come forward as soon as possible. Two little kids are still out there. I want to find them. That's really all I can do. Still searching every day. I'm waiting for information. I have to let them do a lot of their stuff with the aircrafts and everything else, and dogs and searchers. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be coordinated, and I can't just go running through the woods. I want to, but I just can't right now because the search is just so far out. We were searching. We covered everywhere possible. Even in the first day, we did. Even with me running through the woods, I was ahead of the helicopters and ahead of the drones and stuff like that. Screaming as loud as I can. Until my throat hurt. Running through water that was up to my waist. And as soon as I got back, I wasn't allowed back in the woods until a man dressed in military outfit said I could go back into the woods.
4 days into the search for his missing stepkids, Lily and Jack Sullivan, Daniel Martel is pleading with the public to keep their eyes peeled, but he has begun to lose hope they are anywhere in the vicinity.
I hate being wet and cold, so they immediately would have came right back into the house. The only two prints are right beside the house facing the road, and then that's it.
Martel wants the search to be extended to include provincial borders in case the children were abducted, a reality he says is becoming more and more likely.
Post any officers they can get at the New Brunswick border, and PI border, and get them at every airport possible.
Martel confirmed that when the two children went missing from the home behind me, Lily was wearing a pink shirt and pink rain boots. She was also carrying a white backpack with strawberries on it. Martel says although he didn't see Jack that morning, he is believed to be wearing a brown shirt, brown pants with a pull-up diaper on underneath, and blue rain boots with dinosaurs on them. He also refuted the claim that the two children are nonverbal, saying while they are on the autism spectrum, they are quite trusting and say hi to everyone. According to Martel, his side of the family are currently the only ones at ground zero after Lily and Jack's mother left the county Saturday. But still, he remains, begging anyone with answers to come forward and bring his children home safe.
Anybody who has any information, or you think you've seen something, or hear something, or any messages from friends about hearing something, just contact your local police services. Anything, guys, anything.
Ella MacDonald, Global News, Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia.
You said they're flying in someone to do a polygraph test. Is that on you?
That's not just on me, but on everyone. That's what I asked for. I asked for that so early on, and there's not many places that do it in Canada, so they're flying somebody in.
Why do you think you need to do that? Do you think they don't believe you?
I think their side of the family doesn't believe me, and I just want to clear it up for everyone. Clear it up for everyone, not just the people online making crazy accusations. And
That's pretty much his, besides the one I played that interview in the the start of this. Okay, so you guys on this one, what are you thinking about Daniel Martel here? So what's your thoughts on that, Charmaine? Thing is, he is doing what we would expect the mother to have done, which is saying, you know what, please help if anyone knows anything, whatever. He's like, it's bugging me that he's doing these interviews. They're not even his children. And why does it seem like he's shedding more tears than, because we all know, okay, so we know men, right? Men try to mask their emotions. They do not like to cry. They do not like to be seen crying typically. Um, and they try to hold back tears. It's just a different than typically a female for sure. Um, most men do that.
Hey, Sunny, have you ever gone back and watched this stuff? We were having a pretty good laugh early on. Some of the dynamics have changed a little bit, but um, this is excellent information. I think we did a bang up job considering this is day 7 of the disappearance and some of the stuff that we were able to dig up in the 4 short days that we were actually looking into it. And some of our ideas were bang on, some of them were way off, but um, I'm really enjoying going back and watching our content from the beginning. So people had lots of nice things to say here. So yeah, let's let's continue. I'm still starring comments, you guys, but I just, I can't remember what I said about this, but I'm interested. And I'm very interested to see what Sunny believed back then, what Sunny thought of Daniel back then. Let's listen.
It's kind of like the minute they start, all of a sudden their hand goes up there. It's like try to get back. But what's your feeling on Daniel, and what do you guys think about Daniel?
This is a really hard one for me. I feel like everything he's doing, he's kind of doing everything right. Um, but I've been duped before.
Right.
Some people are manipulative and really, really good liars. And like I said while you were away, he could be, searching so hard in the search area because he knows that they're not there. But having said that, I do honestly think that his emotion is genuine, but we don't know where that comes from. Is it because he knows something? We have to remember that they were in a relationship for 3 years. So when Jack was 1 years old and Lily was 3. So they do get bonded, like step parents, they do become attached. And from what I understand, bio dad was in jail. He wasn't around too much. So this was their father figure. And men do, like, they have emotions, especially in a situation like this. This is how I would expect. This reminds me of Seth. So,
Uh,
so I've been duped before, so I'm not 100% on board, but he's doing everything right.
I mean, so the case of Suzanne Morphew, right?
Hmm.
Barry acting like, okay, we all know Barry Morphew's guilty of killing his wife, Suzanne Morphew. Okay, that's just facts right there. Even though he has not been convicted of it, he was, anyways, that's just a whole case in itself. Regardless, it's kind of like the OJ Simpson case, right? Is that, he did it and he got off. Barry Morphew, maybe he'll never be actually charged again for Suzanne's murder, and maybe he will. But Barry was out there, pretending to be looking for Suzanne and doing that stuff. So again, right,
Because he knew exactly where she was.
right, right.
But I don't know that
Right. With him, I'm torn. With him, I'm actually torn because my gut feeling, okay, says that he's actually being genuine. I feel like I keep trying to lean towards genuine, but then I keep getting held back a little bit as well. Because first of all, yeah, even the people that are very intuitive and have strong sense of people and perception by their uh words and by how they sound and what they're saying and stuff like that. So for me, she to me is totally came off as contrived, that it was her whole interview was strange, it was red flags and whatever. For him, I look into his eyes, I'm looking and trying to look into his emotions to match that, what he's saying. And I,
And
and
the
I
facial expressions too, to go along with it, like look
and
at his
eye
face, to me,
contact.
that's genuine, and to keep on talking to the media. I mean, it's really hard to keep a facade. And yes, thank you, Lonnie Simons. And this whole case reminds me of Lil Quentin. It really does.
And that's the same thing with Bebop, too. It's kind of like, um, I, it's almost like I said, I'm feeling like that I want to you know, feel like he's being genuine and honest. And in my head, I'm like, why is he doing all of this while mama's nowhere to be seen or heard from? You know, like you can only hide from the whole don't talk to the media. These are two children that are missing.
You know
And
what? You don't have to talk to the media to have your mother watch the baby while you go out and look for your other kids. That doesn't include
correct.
talking to the media. If the law enforcement told her and not him to talk to the media, I mean, I'm sorry, I call bullshit. I do.
So
Because
then,
law enforcement says you don't have to talk to the media if you don't want to.
right, if you don't want to. Yeah.
Right.
So where do you think, okay, so children abducted, yes or no, guys? Yes or no? I should have done a poll earlier. Yes, yes for one, two for no. Abducted. And Charmaine, um, what did you think that you thought happened to the kids? What do you think they like? What do you think happened? Like, do you think parents? Okay, do you believe that they're in the woods?
Yes.
Buried.
Or in water. I would love to see a map of the whole area instead of just the neighborhood like we've seen everywhere. But I just feel the first thing I thought of was they probably left some kind of narcotic or something laying around, maybe pills, maybe powder, maybe something, and the kids got into it and overdosed. And one of them, probably mom, woke up, found them, and panicked and put them away, said they were at school, whatever, whatnot. I don't know.
So then that would kind of mean that this is a facade because obviously she can't do
No, because he works 1 day a week. His hours have been cut, but he still works 1 day a week at a sawmill. So there is, I don't know what day a week, but there is time when he's not there, and you can't tell me that he doesn't go anywhere or do anything ever. She is a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, but the story is by both of them that they were sleeping and she was in and out. They wake up, that Lily was coming into the room a few times and they could hear Jack in the kitchen type of thing making noise. And then they get up, and that was around 8 o'clock. And then around say 10 o'clock is when I think it was 9:40 that they called the police. It was, but he has to be part of this picture that day because they're both saying that they went out the sliding door and just disappeared.
You know, absolutely. And up until today, I thought that they had come up with the story together and they both knew what had happened. And I never once thought that that they snapped or were abusive. Neglectful, yes, and I guess in a way that's abusive, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that they physically did something to the kids that ended their lives. I think that it was neglectful behavior and something happened where they weren't being watched and something terrible happened. And up until today, I thought that they come up with this whole thing together and that, they know exactly where they are. And that's why he's so comfortable searching with them. Why he's volunteering to be, that's the big one for me. Volunteered to take a polygraph as long as everybody else is going to do one too. And then just his consistent, genuine emotions and words and talking to the media. His story's not changing. There are green flags with him, but
Actually, I'm gonna have to bring this up the other way. Let me bring it up the other way. Share screen. Because when I
and the footprint that they talked about was found, I believe towards the edge of the driveway, but they couldn't confirm that it was a child's boot print because of the rain and such. They did have dogs out there and they picked up their scent, but it ended at the end of the driveway. But they, I mean, they live there, so that's not too strange. It is strange that they didn't pick up their scent going into the woods. And to me, it's a little bit strange that if the police are so, they're
Yeah.
comfortable enough going on national TV and saying that the likelihood of them being alive is very low, it's strange to me that they haven't brought in cadaver dogs yet. And I know that they have to come from Quebec. I get that, but we're on day 7 now, people. Those cadaver dogs should have been here on day 5 if they knew that this is the way it was going. So.
Okay, now this post Charmaine had sent me earlier.
Hello, Daniel. How's it going? So I'm gonna play this for a little while longer. But again, this is just a little bit of nostalgia today for me, and I'm still starting comments, but I don't know why you're here, Daniel. We're revisiting some pretty rough judgmental times on you. But oh look, hey, KFC BFF, small world. Anyways, let's go through and listen to this next part because I do remember listening to this stuff this morning. I was like, yeah, this is okay. So let's continue. Ian's making his lunch anyways, so let's continue.
Anonymous participant out of the missing Lily and Jack Sullivan discussions. It says, I'm just going to put this out there. I know the stepfather for a very long time, and he has never once shown me any signs of anger. He was always good to the kids and does not do any heavy drugs. He's a very kind, polite guy, and I'm not just saying this because I know him, but I don't think he had anything to do with this. He has been following all the police orders, let them search the property over and over. He offered them a drug test and a lie detector test. He also gave them his laptop and cell phone to be looked at because he has nothing to hide. When this all comes out, he didn't do it. I hope a lot of you are ashamed of yourselves. He took care of those kids more than the mother did. I actually believe that because that's kind of to me what we're seeing here. I believe, Charmaine. We're seeing a person that's not the biological dad putting more effort in than the actual mother that gave birth to these 2 children. So that to me, that's kind of coinciding with what this person is saying. Sometimes, and plus, not only that, back in 2011, he had some sort of, minor uh, drug charge for like whatever it was, nothing major, and it was dropped. Other than that, he doesn't have a criminal record. Sometimes the nicest people can be monsters, and I understand that, but I can honestly say I don't think he would ever do this. I think he was probably threatened really bad if he says something. He may die, or he just really doesn't know what happened. Well, I think the first part is a little bit extreme. If I was in the States, I'd probably say that more so, but I wouldn't say that more so in Canada, to be honest with you. He's out there looking for them hours and hours. The mom isn't even caring to look. Which reminds me, I just want to touch on something quickly. That was horrific what happened in Vancouver to the Filipinos that were celebrating downtown, and this guy literally goes in and just drives through the crowd. That's something you always hear about in the United States. Vehicle, anyways. That was very, very sad. Very sad. Anyways, so going back to this. So basically this person saying that they know, I've known him for a long time. But do you to me it kind of goes with what's being shown to us. that he does seem to be putting the more care in here to these children that actually aren't his. Why? Because probably, like, if I was to guess, and this is just a guess, or if I was to assume, uh, I'm thinking that he probably, she's probably, pretty lazy, and he probably does take care of the children better. But by the same token, do I think that those children are being raised healthy, with wellness and everything like that? No, I don't feel that. I feel like that they're from a very broken down type of home. But I can see that this person's post would make sense to what we're seeing. What do you think?
I agree, but you know what I'm like. I always think that there's something fishy with everything. I question everything. It doesn't matter what it is. So as much as this kind of fits what we're seeing, anonymous participant makes me wonder who it was. Did he write this himself? Lisa, I'm a very untrusting person.
You,
You know,
Charmaine,
but
Charmaine's probably more untrusting than I am, for sure. I'm untrusting, but Charmaine's on I think a higher level of untrusting. But
I question everything. Doesn't matter
I,
what it is. Doesn't matter how nice it is. I always question, and I don't know why I'm the way I am. But I
you know,
just, this is too perfect. This is like wrapped up in a little bow. See, this person that I know just said all this great stuff about me, and it's exactly how I've been acting this whole time. And
yeah,
it's just too neat and tidy for me. I mean, it could have been his mother that wrote it. I don't know.
maybe, you know, to be honest with you, so this particular post, I'm taking at face value. I feel like there's a lot of truth in there. I believe just the main thing I'm going off of is that the actions of him versus the mother are at least representative of this. And I get what you're saying is that maybe his mother wrote this, maybe a best friend wrote it and stuff like that, but you know, there's that birthday party video. Okay. Um, let's hide that. Let's go back to, let me see if I can, 1 second here, video file.
I mean, he seems very doting, and he's the one that kind of describes in detail what they could have been wearing, and he does seem like a more attentive parent than the mom.
if I had to guess, I'm gonna say yeah, to be honest with you. I'm just gonna try to, this is Plunder's video. You guys haven't seen Plunder?
I am gonna play a little bit more into this, but just so you know, I know there's a lot of talk going on, so we are absolutely allowed to talk about Jack and Lily's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray. We can talk about her. It's never good to accuse anybody of anything. But you can talk about Malaya, absolutely. But what you can't do is talk about um, pending hearings, charges, and alleged victims of those charges. Two completely separate cases, two completely separate situations. Um, and so feel free to talk about Jack and Lily's mother and use her name all you want. Absolutely. But because it has absolutely nothing to do with any upcoming um, hearings. So hope that clears that up. But Ian's still eating, so we're gonna keep listening to Plunder True Crime, and Sunny plugs Plunder enough. The name of the channel is actually right there. She's got all the dispatch audio. She did a really amazing job compiling everything. But Sunny actually does do a really good job of plugging Plunder. So let's. What are you talking about? On and I'm still. Where's truth? It's only been an hour and 48 minutes. We're dealing with Sunny here. This live stream is 3 hours and 30 minutes. We're not going to watch all of it, but of course I'm still here. Okay, let's continue.
I don't know who Plunder is. You guys should really subscribe. Plunder compacts a ton of information into her videos. She does a really excellent job. And I love the fact, so Plunder I've known from many other cases. Suzanne Morphew is where I came to know of Plunder, Paula Mooney. And is it McNoon Mooney? Yeah, Paula Mooney, I think it's called. But anyways, so before when she would make videos, like some people, they did videos, but they didn't show themselves. And I remember thinking to myself, like, Paula, not gonna lie, Paula, you put me to sleep many a times because Paula has a very monotone voice that's basically the same to me. And then something happened with her channel where YouTube, basically she had to basically restart her channel. She deleted all her videos and had to go from ground. And I think that was when YouTube was requiring that you had to basically show that you were literally the individual that's running the channel. But anyways, I love the fact that Paula now is always on the videos, that she puts herself there to be seen, and she does it this way because honestly, when you want to connect with an audience, I want to see you. I don't care if sometimes you're off screen, but I really hate talking to avatars. I don't like it. Like, I don't mind that guests go to avatars during times throughout the live, like I do and stuff like that. But to spend usually the whole time as an avatar, you don't connect properly to me. I'm one of those people that I'd rather talk to you in person or on the phone than through text and stuff like that. Because I just like to, you know, do it right then and there.
Yeah.
But so I really appreciate. But Paula, if you guys don't know, like I said, who she is, she compacts a lot of information. Her and the docket, a lot of times, like the docket on Twitter, and he has his YouTube channel, the docket as well. That's Eric. Really great people. A lot of times, him and Paula, go together and pay for video footage and different stuff from different cases and stuff like that.
Tons of
And
stuff. Patty Soto case.
yeah,
Stuff
Maddie
that
Soda.
humans.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool too that the drunk turkey had on oh my god.
Gonzalez?
Yes. The father of
Yeah,
Katie.
he had. Oh yes, it was Steve, and then the interviewer room actually had them on. But yeah, Drunk Turkey did a really, really good show the other night.
Yeah, really those that I mean usually it's just uh him that's on it now, but usually like before it was like Big Blue and that, but you don't really see them so much anymore. And he had a nasty dog attack, his own dog attacked him, eh? Oh my
Oh, really?
God, that was gross. That was gross. His arm, how much his dog tore his arm apart.
Yeesh.
Um, I'm just trying to find the birthday party one. Did I go buy it? I think I went by it. Darn it. Sorry, but was a long video. And I was going to play a lot of this or quite a bit of this today. But then I opted not to, but it's a really great video. Anyways, come on, we got to find the birthday party video.
Well, it's just doing
I
that.
know I've missed it.
I'm gonna mute this one just so that I can, I'm I'm wondering, is everybody still, going along with this? Is this still useful to everybody, as useful as it is to me? Uh, like I said, it's always good to look back. I feel like it's important to remember and to realize how opinions can evolve based on information. And I know, Daniel and Sunny are both here, and I'm glad because I think that maybe one day we can have a full-on conversation, a fair conversation on both sides. Um, but I mean, Daniel's right here when he said if like nobody else, and still to this day, nobody else is talking. Like, who are we gonna listen to? Derwood? I'm sure he'll talk to somebody, but um, nobody's saying anything. So I mean, have I been telling Daniel like back, say after our first conversation back in May, And after that, and after a lot of the drama started and stuff, and he would come into chat and people would just be going wild, and I'd be like, fuck, man, stop talking online. Like, you're not doing yourself any favors. But then we get a taste of what happens when Daniel stops talking and how hateful things became directed at other people, like anybody, because everybody now we've had our fill of bashing everything Daniel says. So now let's turn our attention to people that really should have nothing to do with this. I just it's a dichotomy in my mind because you don't Malaya hasn't said shit since day 2. And I mean, she still gets, ridiculed and attacked, whatever, whatnot. But it's because she hasn't said shit. But had she been talking the whole time, it would be the same thing. Damned if you do and damned if you don't. But in my opinion, if you've got somebody that's willing to still talk about the case, who was there that day, still willing to talk about the case, I personally appreciate that. Because otherwise, we're just going to keep running in circles waiting for the RCMP to release information that they're never going to release. Never, never, never. The case is going to be resolved regardless. And I'm still going to go back to my start comments after, but I do want to yeah, exactly, Sunny. Truth is always near the start, right? And if yeah, Belinda, I will play this, but if we listen back to or think back to the interviews Sunny played of Daniel in the very beginning, he did ask them, or he said he asked them to, close the borders to PEI and New Brunswick. And, you know, to me, and maybe it was an act, I don't know, but that's how a parent acts. Like, we've been looking in the woods, they're not in the woods. We need to close the borders. Malaya said we need an Amber Alert, so there's information here. Talking is great, but lying doesn't help anyone, in my opinion, of course. Well, no, I mean, that's a pretty broad statement, and I agree with you 100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Zygote, I saw that person. I don't really want to talk to that person, I don't think. Not talking is better than lying, also, in my opinion. True. But it doesn't matter what she would say, we would still pick it apart. I don't think she would be given any more grace than Daniel was given at all. But I personally think that if there ever was a time where she wanted to speak out, watching everything that was going on with Daniel, it's pretty good indication why she shouldn't speak out. That I don't know. I don't know. I am going to keep playing Plunder.
There it is. Okay. So listen to Paula from Plunder for a moment.
There's a number 2 on the cake. I believe it's a celebration of when Jack turned 2. Now the little girl screaming her head off reportedly is Lily.
Liam, come sing. I got him.
Oh, it's hard down.
Happy. Lily. Lily. Stop, honey. Okay. So, let's see here. Let's go back to maybe, come on. Okay, we'll just leave it there. Okay. You've seen this video, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys, I know, Jesus, my ears are bleeding. Absolutely. Okay. So what did you make out of how Jack was reacting to Lily screaming?
Yeah, he seemed kind of used to it almost, but just watching his sister, it was, and it's cute, but I don't know, I just feel like Daniel is pretty attentive. Like he's interested in what's going on. He thought to move the pop can, just little things like that. I don't see that he's a real bad guy.
Me neither, actually. So, it's kind of like, because my husband, he'd be out of that room so fast if he had to listen to that.
Yeah.
Parents, I mean, we're used to that. That's a high pitched squeal right there.
It sure is.
To be honest with you, I'm sure he was kind of like, I didn't overly read a lot into his expression besides the fact of, there's people obviously on the other side of this camera here, and he isn't the father, but it's kind of like he's just letting her do her thing and kind of giving that look like,
Phase him. Like he didn't even
didn't it didn't honestly seem to phase him, and that's probably the perfect word I was looking for, is that it didn't seem to phase him. And then, like you said, and then he just nonchalantly moves over the pop, and it's kind of like, then the one person, whoever it was, saying, Lily, stop, Lily, stop screaming, type of thing. But yeah, it's almost just like another day, another, another child screaming type thing. But
Yeah,
I didn't read much into that myself.
not at all. Not at all. And for the little girl to be comfortable enough to scream knowing he's right there, I mean, I shouldn't read into that either, but there's no red flags here whatsoever. And yes, it is only a year into the relationship, but
Wait one second.
year's a year.
3 years.
Now this is when
Oh,
Jack
you're
turns.
right.
So
You're right. Yes, right. Right. Jack was 2.
Mhm.
Yeah, about a year into the relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
But mama's over there, like it's almost like too, like, and it kind of reminded me of, like, probably if that was happening and nobody else was around, he'd be like, Lily, knock it off, stop yelling and screaming. But when there's other people around, people kind of don't necessarily do how they would typically
Yeah.
act, because there's other people around. So I'm probably sure that that's what he kind of reminded me of, like, okay, she's squealing, okay, and then I almost feel like he's just like, hello, like, do something about it, like, in a sense, because he does have that look on his face, like, oh, she's just going. And
Yeah, but
then,
it's also not, he's not like reacting and trying to get her to stop, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I'm
like,
sure your ex was, my ex was, just
I don't like to read too much into things if they're not there. And if either you get a vibe or you don't get a vibe, and some people, like, we all know that there's people in true crime that they'll pick apart and decipher everything. And honestly, sometimes some of these people, their thoughts are from outer space. Sometimes you wonder how they were born, how they were the strongest swimmers, how they even managed to find true crime. Was it just by accident? And they hit their head and somehow got into true crime.
Mhm.
Because sometimes some of the speculation that people do on stuff, it's just, and how, like, it's like when they take something small or something nominal, and then they twist it into this big elongated story of how that could have happened, like his facial expressions or whatever, like that. I just like to watch something the first time, initially, kind of look at it. I'll go back usually and watch it again, just see anything that I was missing or whatever. But my instinct when I watched this was, like I said, it was just, there was no bad vibes going off about him. It was just somebody that was listening to this child scream, that kind of looking for maybe the other adults to say something, since he's not the biological father.
Yeah.
It's been a year, but he doesn't seem phased. you
Not
know. But I'm sure that had they been just him and the kids and Mihaela there, that it would have been like, knock it off, stop screaming. But I do take him for the bigger empath of the two, um, because because he has at least interviews to kind of keep looking at. She has one, and the one interview that she has, it's red flag city to me on this. And it could have been something like what you're saying, that, that the children may, like, who knows if there was, some drugs in the house and the children got into it, and a true accident happened out of all this, and it became a cover up. Maybe there wasn't. I can't see them being missing in the woods. I can see them maybe being buried in the woods, but not missing in the woods, because I feel like absolutely different from Sebastian somewhat is that I feel like we're not talking about a teenager like Sebastian. We're talking about 6-year-old, 4-year-olds. How far are they truly going to get? Right? Like, truly.
Not-
Without what's any stuff like this. I can't. What the heck is that noise that's coming from your computer? Sounded like a race car going by. Is it a motorcycle?
Yeah, it's right outside.
Oh, okay, okay. But yeah, so I'm not sure what you guys think, because we're all, each have our own brain cells, and some of them travel a little further, freaking up south than other people's. But at the end of the day, these two children, okay, do you guys believe that Lily and Jack are with us still? If you do, well, just yes or no, to be honest with you. Charmaine?
I don't. I really don't. I think it's more than unlikely.
I don't think that they are either.
As sad as it is, but it's day 7 and they're babies. They're babies. Sebastian is a child. These are babies.
Mark thinks that they are. The whole thing is suspicious, and I feel the children are not alive. That's in the simplest form, Bebop. That's correct. There's the mother's interview in itself shows that. Could we be wrong on that? Absolutely. I pray that we are. I pray that those children are still alive, but that's, wishful thinking. It's like we're talking about a 6-year-old and 4-year-old. I don't
But
feel.
at the same time, if they are alive, I think we can all agree that they're not out in the woods fending for themselves, building shelters and foraging for food. I mean, if they're still alive, it's because they were taken somewhere and hopefully, maybe, possibly in some strange way being taken care of. But I don't like that scenario either. I really don't. Scary to think of.
So
Yes, bodies of water are around there.
yeah. Okay, so well, I mean, we can, so this is an older, like, this is like, even though this is current, it's like an older, well, hold on, we'll go to Jack and Lily's. Hold on, let me go back out of that for a second. So obviously you can tell this it's the same property, but it's totally changed. But that's what Google Earth has for the property. But I mean, if anyone knows Canada and and this type of living, this kind, well, it is saying that though, this kind of reminds me of Summer Wells that way, that they had this property within the trees, and all of a sudden, Summer Wells just disappears, you know, and but to me, just like I don't believe Summer Wells was abducted, um, this kind of living, to think that these children that don't typically go outside without the special parenting that's happening, and then come over to the street, and some sinister pedo happens to, like, honestly, do you honestly feel like these children who don't leave the home and the sliding back doors ever, that suddenly they're going to go to the road, they're going to leave the backyard, go to the road, and then poof, someone magically drives by and just takes them, in this
So highly unlikely. It's
so
so
highly
high.
unlikely. Highly unlikely. I mean, come on now, right? The next neighbor is way up the road over there. If we go back into come on here. Okay, wait. So come on now. Okay. So Salt Springs Elementary, that's where they went to school. Where they did attend school. Jack and Lily, of course, is here. And then gotta get my bearings on me here. All right, where are you? Let me find you.
Remember, Nova Scotia is an island, right?
Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So Wentworth is an hour, and this is supposedly that it was said that Mihaela went to her mom's home, who lives in Wentworth. And again, the children's school there, Jack and Lily here, but obviously there's a bunch of water around here.
Gonna mute her
There's
just
lots.
for a minute so we can talk a little bit. You want another? I didn't get past this part when I was rewatching it, so I don't know if I had anything snarky, smart, wise, whatever you said to say there, Roots. I don't know if I do that again, but I'm told if you want another I guess Kodak moment with Shar, you just got to go back and watch the live stream that Durwood was on. And I mean, I don't remember this stuff, right? Like I obviously I remember being on streams with Sunny and stuff, but I don't remember feeling as passionately as I did one way or the other. Like I obviously did, but apparently, allegedly, which I'll go check it out, but allegedly I don't have a poker face. So when Durwood was talking about the reservation and the kids being taken across the border, apparently it was all over my face and I lost my shit. And I didn't say anything, but you could see it. You could see it on my face. And apparently that was a little bit comical to go back and watch. I do plan on doing that, maybe not for a full live stream, um, but yeah. Thank you everybody for being respectful to those people in chat. And yeah, anytime that you want to stop this, you just let me know. I don't feel like this is like using somebody else's content because like I'm right there. So even if I played this whole thing through and just went through comments after, I feel like it's legitimate anyways because like I was right there. I could do that. But anyways, this is interesting to me. And I haven't looked at map time for quite some time because we all know Charmaine doesn't watch any other content now because Sunny's gone and that's the only other content that I can watch. So I'm going to play this because I want to see some map time. So sure could see it. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes, I did. I did say that. I said Nova Scotia is an island. Just um he did actually um don't know the exact live stream, but when I put out text screenshots, um Daniel did explain why Cindy doesn't like him. It's not he doesn't like Cindy. Cindy doesn't like him. If he wants to answer, he can. If he's still here. Um, Copyright strike coming. Can, but I would fight that one. I would be like, pretty sure I was there. Anyways, this is good anyways. And plus, you have to remember, this is live stream on Jack and Lily #1. We did, I'd say I was on Sunny's stream probably 2 to 3 times a week, but Sunny was doing this almost daily. So she's got a ton of content. If you miss Sunny, just go watch Sunny. She's got a ton of content on Jack and Lily. However, you won't be able to um, talk to her until I'm successful to get her to do a live stream. So, anyways, let's continue with map time. Map time with Sunny.
Particular case, I definitely feel we're talking about two little toddlers, basically 6 years old and 4 years old, right? Who can barely walk fast as it is, and that somehow they managed to get out of the scope of the whole search area. Again, to me, they wouldn't have gotten very far. So, what truly happened to these children remains to be seen exactly. Um, let's see here. Hi, Shirley. Hate for me saying this, but I believe Summer Wells was sold. Jermaine, what do you think about Summer Wells? Listen, just quickly sidetrack for a second. What do you feel about Summer Wells' case?
Summer Wells, I don't know if I believe that she was sold, but I do think that she's no longer here. And I don't know, because you've got the whole swimming hole trip that day and the picture of her sleeping in the back.
Yeah.
Milk jugs. I think the answer lies right there somewhere. And then she got home and she helped grandma plant some stuff and grandma gave her some candy. I mean, that be contrived, or I just don't know. I don't see her. That's a huge property, but it is quite close to the road, and there was a scream, according to a neighbor. And I mean, I don't know what to think about that. And Dawn Wells creeps me the F out.
Yeah. I want to
Her relationship with that Hunter kid was sketchy. I just, there's so many things that happened in that case that it makes it hard to come up with a very solid opinion, in my opinion.
Right.
I don't know that. I mean, maybe she was sold, but I don't see them cutting all of her hair off and then selling a little girl. Do you know what I mean? Like, just little things like that. Once you piece it all together and you look at it from like a bird's eye view, that just doesn't make sense to me.
Right. 1 second. I'm just trying to. I want to screen share.
There would have been little footprints. They would have found the backpack, because we know, okay, so the search area was a 4-kilometer radius, right? And the parent was, yeah. And according to the parents, they realized that they were missing within 20 minutes and they looked around and then they called 911 immediately. So to think that the kids got out of a 4-kilometer radius without leaving any boot prints or dropping anything, it didn't happen. And I strongly believe that law enforcement knows. They know that and I said at the very beginning, it's very strange. It's very out of the usual for law enforcement to go on TV and say the likelihood that these children are alive is very low. That's not very common. So to me, and I could be wrong, but to me, that could have been something where law enforcement was trying to rattle the parents, trying to get one of them to talk. Because they wouldn't have scaled back the search if they thought that they were in the woods, unless they thought that they just might have missed them.
Right.
So, right, Bebop. It didn't happen like that. Law enforcement said what, Mark? That the likelihood that they're still alive is very low. They did say that. They came out and they said that when they announced that they were scaling back. And that's extraordinarily uncommon, especially after it was only day 6.
Yeah, they literally said that in the press conference, wasn't it?
Yeah. I forgot. I forgot. I did watch this part. So Sunny doesn't do any more map time. However, this next part, so this story here that we're about to go through on this live stream, looking back at it now, I don't know if it was legitimate or if it was AI or somebody using AI, but goes kind of hard on Henry Brooks. So heads up, that's what we're getting into next here. He did. And
I heard them say that.
it happened, and I feel like they said that way to rattle the parents, to try to get one or both of them to start talking and ratting on the other. And being that they've broken up and she's blocked him on social media and she got rid of her Facebook and she's not living there and she took the baby, it's not law enforcement's fault, don't get me wrong, but they're probably using all of that as tools to try to get one or both of them to talk, because the kids there were 200 people searching a 4-kilometer radius for 5 days, solid 5 days, plus the first day, plus the end of the 6th day. They didn't find anything. They found a possible boot print on the property. But they're not out there. They're just not out there. And if they are out there, they can't walk out there.
And specifically the RCMP or whatever, the police, they're literally saying, like, during the press conference, like, that they basically do not believe that they're alive now, like, at this point. Why would they issue an Amber Alert? That's not where they're going with this case.
No.
It's not an
No.
Amber Alert. It's like Charmaine was saying, right? It's basic to me. That's basically like saying, like, it's not an Amber Alert.
It wasn't an abduction.
Yeah, it's not an abduction. I believe that we are now looking for bodies of the children. That's because again, they would have issued an Amber Alert if, like, they wouldn't have even said that if there
No.
was a possibility.
I've never heard that before with a child. With adults, sure, after a few weeks or months or whatever, sure. Presumed dead, no proof of life, no footprint, no nothing. Sure, they say that about adults, but I can't think of one case in Canada or the US where after 6 days law enforcement comes out and says that. That is so unusual. And I think that they know something happened, probably inside the house, and they're not buying what mom is selling, and they're trying to get them to talk. And it's unfortunate. And they wouldn't have said it if they didn't believe it. But for them to say it on TV, that's different.
Saying a lot. It's saying a lot.
Says a lot.
Now, I wanted to screen share this with you because I really like this post that you sent me, Charmaine. When it comes to this, but what does this mean? So as of course is Daniel and Malaya, in happier days. Okay, so 1 second here. God, I'm trying to get you. Where's that whole thing? YouTube had this whole thing where it was, or maybe, hold on, let me just remove that. Oh, where'd that button go? There was a button that I could just click in the background here, but whatever. Image file, 1 second. And okay, so I think this is the first one here. Okay. See, the thing is that although they've made this kind of neat for StreamYard, it's not like I can zoom in on when I bring it in this way. Okay. Trick me. She's trying to force me to put on glasses here. Freaking then they're blurry as shit, the glasses too. Fine. Let's see. See, like no, like I can see it, but no, I can't even. Hold on. Let's see. No, I can read it, but no, whatever. There's no doubt that the integrational trauma was a factor in the disappearance of Jack and Lily Sullivan from their home in rural Pictou. Did I say it right? Pictou? Did I say it right? Yeah. Pictou, right?
Sorry, I'm muted. Yes, you said it right.
Correct. County last week. We just don't know the whole story yet. As readers will be familiar, Lily 6 and Jack 4 have been missing since May 2nd when police received a 911 call that they had wandered away from their ramshackle, nice way of saying it, ramshackle mini home on a Garlock Road in Lansdowne Station. Okay, hold on. Then there's another one. Remove and present, share screen. No, not share screen, cancel. Present, add image. So this one should be next. Okay. The separate interviews, the children's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, and stepfather, Daniel Martel, told mainstream media that the children had slipped out the sliding back door while they were still in bed with their 1-year-old daughter. They called the police when they awoke around 10 a.m., which is confusing because at 8 a.m. it was that Lily was coming in and out of the room and she was in and out of comatose there. Integrational trauma exhibit, number one, Malaya's origins, or we'll say that's supposed to be the original story, but she's the daughter of Cindy Murray. Now, for anyone that doesn't know, Cindy Murray was doing a lot of talking in Facebook groups. She has since closed down her Facebook pretty much because of, the nastiness of online true crime sleuths and stuff like that, and how mean and cruel people can be. They don't know what they're walking into, most of them, unfortunately. But there's a lot of good out there, but unfortunately, there's a lot.
Peaches from a can. I would love to be able to do that. But if I did that, it would literally be us researching it together. I have got a lot of experience with geofencing as it pertains to commercial vehicles. I don't think it's the same thing. So I know that when I think Larry was either on the stream with me or in the chat, and we asked him. He said that he'd be willing to come up and explain it to us, but he has since vamoosed from case coverage or whatever, case involvement. So I don't know. I don't know. I'll put the call out there if anybody is familiar with geofencing enough to get me up to speed, or at least direct me to where I can find someone or information to share with people. I am more than willing to do that. Absolutely, Peaches. But as it is, like I said, my knowledge of geofencing is not the same thing as investigative geofencing, if that makes sense. So, love to. If you know anybody, if anybody out there knows anybody, send them my way. Otherwise, probably won't be able to help you out with that. Who else? Um, oh, does she? Uh, I mean, she can have it. I mean, I know why and I know where he went, but no. Either way, she can have it. Who cares? Um, okay, let's just continue.
A lot of people that really suck in life. Anyways, and Henry Brooks. So Henry Brooks is the father of Malaya, and they are a member of the. And don't even ask me how to freaking say this. Go ahead, Charmaine. Sip, sip, yeah.
Sipakinikitik.
Sipakinikitik. Sure. We'll go with that. Okay. And so there's four.
So in the past year, I've learned Shubenacadie, and we call it Shuby for short. So
Out of Nova Scotia, there's 4 reservations. So although they're all from the same, like, however you want to say it, Mime Tamak or whatever it is called, MI apostrophe T.
Micmac,
Yeah. How do you say it?
Micmac,
Yeah, that one.
and I believe that is actually Mi'kmaq. So the more you know. See, we can learn stuff. Me and Sunny, we can learn stuff.
So within that, there's like 4 reservations that are for the, we'll just call it the Speeny on there one. Out of the reservations in Nova Scotia, because I did hear it said that that she did go up to, like, so Wentworth. I don't see a reservation exactly around Wentworth. There's um there's the Indian Brook one, there's the something called Ross Nut one or whatever it's called, but there's like 4 of them, but none of them seem to be like right near Wentworth. So we heard that she went up to the reservation. So I don't know if that where, like, it's an hour drive to get to Wentworth from the address of where the house is. So who knows? I'm not exactly sure. It's really, can I just say this, and you guys should know that. It's really hard in Canada to get the information as readily and easily as it is to get information on people in the United States. It's honestly, like, me and Charmaine spent a good chunk of last night, just trying to get a little thread on, like we know that the bio dad's name is Sullivan, but do I know his first name? No. Did I find out anything? I was trying to look
Cody.
up. Hey, is it Cody?
Yeah, I sent it to you this
Oh, did
afternoon.
you? Okay.
Guys, this story here with grandma and grandpa's names and bio dad's real name, the thing that I found, that was all today. Up until today,
Yeah.
you couldn't find these names online.
No. Yeah.
Not that they matter, but it just
Yeah.
helps tell the whole story.
Right. And that's what kind of people look for, right? A little bit of story, but it is a lot harder to get information. It's totally different. We're totally different. We're more like the UK that way. We don't readily give free information like you guys got in the States, which is not a good thing, by the way. It's not a good thing. Have the information I can pull up on an individual. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see. First Nation relationship didn't stick on account of Henry's penchant, whatever, never use that word in my life, for violence. Henry has already started building his rap sheet when Cindy put the run to him in the early aughts.
80s.
80s, is that okay? But Henry wouldn't stay away. Mihaela was barely out of diapers when Henry beat up Cindy and was convicted of assault and forcible entry in 2024 or 2004. Sorry, my bad. As if that wasn't enough to put Henry on the RCMP persons of interest list. Consider. Gotta find the next one. Gotta find the next one. Present image file. We should be on this one here. Okay. Okay. As if that wasn't enough to put on. Okay, we already read that. Henry's greatest hits. 2014, sentenced to 2 years in federal time for drug trafficking, theft, and weapons charges. 2015, another 6 months in custody plus probation for assault with a weapon and assault causing bodily harm. Which brings up to the last week when Grandpa Henry came out of the woodwork to say, hi. Now, let me see if this is on the other one, because I believe it is. And present image file. Come on now. Let's go. Yeah. See it better here. Okay. So Henry Brooks, baby girl, why didn't you take what this man says. Okay. Baby girl, why didn't you tell me when this first happened? Please, never hold nothing back from me ever again. I love you, baby. Next time something like this happens, you tell me right away, okay? Next time, Charmaine, that this incident happens again, you just make sure to tell good old dad, because daddy's a tracker. Because baby, I'm a tracker. I'm a tracker. You
Good
know,
old tracker.
I might be a lot of things, but baby, I'm a tracker. If this ever happens again and your last child goes missing, you make sure that you tell me so I can track that child down. That made me laugh a bit.
Oh, ridiculous, yeah.
If something like this happens again, you reach out to daddy, dear, because I'm a tracker, okay? Hey, if you're a tracker, so be it. Sounds like you're a lot of other things as well, Henry Brooks. But
Actually, with a rap sheet like that, I'm not surprised that she didn't reach out to you there, Daddy.
yeah, you sound like a real winner. But I mean, I'll kidding aside on that part. But yeah, I mean, obviously, maybe somebody it says shortly after her kids disappeared, Malaya fled to her mom's Cindy's house in Wentworth. Then she blocked Daniel on social media. Daniel has no criminal record. His only charge was as an adult was simple drug possession in 2011, and it didn't stick. Cindy subsequently confirmed that Malaya's relationship with Daniel has ended. Right. Why? Why, Charmaine? Why do you think this relationship ended?
I don't know. I mean, it's totally possible that it was on the rocks before this because that's an awful thin straw to break, especially when families usually come together, at least for the first little while.
The next day, apparently, there was this argument. She gets kicked off. She heads to her mom's house. You know, but there's a reason behind this. There's a reason. Either it's as simple as accusing, or there's some truth there. There's something. There's something in this that has to do to me about the children. But I'm just conflicted because if I take Daniel for being genuine in his searching and his helping and wanting to take a lie detector test, if I take him for that, then the story wouldn't seem to be that the children just vanished on Friday. I don't know, but yet if he's telling the story as if it was on Friday, to me, like regardless of what you said earlier, okay? Because yes, not just last week, my husband information she does in the most limited time to put out what she does.
So yeah, I think that's always.
Okay, so do we zygote? What does I'm a tracker mean exactly? So I don't know for sure. However, Man Tracker, I believe was the show. Remember that? Um, they're able to find prints, animal tracks, whatever, and other means as well. Like if they're looking for carcasses or whatever, they can see ravens, birds, whatever. Signs of movement through wooded areas. They know how to follow tracker, you know? Does that mean he's a professional tracker? I got no idea. But anyways, I'm gonna go maybe another 10 minutes on this just because now we're finally getting into plunder. While you guys are watching this part, I'm gonna go and find this plunder live stream that Sunny's gonna play, and I'm gonna put it in the chat. And don't forget, this full live stream is pinned in the comments at the top of the live chat today. And also, Sunny's got tons of content, and hopefully she'll decide to do a live stream tomorrow, like she's alluded to here today. But anyways, we're gonna listen to this for another 10 minutes or so, and then I'm gonna go through my starred comments, and it's gonna be over 3 hours today, guys. My bad, but is what it is. So let's continue listening to Plunder now, and yeah, any questions that you want answered or comments you want starred, just get them in the chat because I'm almost done starring. Okay.
I have right now. The drone operator is still on scene with the mom, so I think the mom stays posted out there in case they happen to sneak out and get back into the house.
So we've got this troubling case out of Nova Scotia, and I was up all hours of the night doing research and just trying to dig through today all this dispatch audio, hours and hours and hours worth of dispatch audio out of Canada. It's regarding the two missing children, Lily and Jack Sullivan. I've heard some pretty interesting things over the dispatch from Friday, May 2nd. That's the day that the children were reported missing. So I wanted to dig and dig and dig and see what I could find. So far, the most interesting thing is that one of the authorities is telling another, the dispatcher is saying, make sure the mom stays close to the house.
I think the mom stays posted out there in case they happen to sneak out and get back into the house.
Make sure the mom stays close to the house. And that's exactly what did not happen. And I'm wondering why. So Lily and Jack Sullivan were last seen on Friday, May 2nd, 2025. So it's been 6 days. Today is Wednesday, May 7th. And that's kind of scary to think about. Young children being missing this long. So now they're trying to put the pieces together. On Friday morning, I've heard so many conflicting reports. As you'll hear, or you might have just heard, one dispatcher is saying they were last seen at 8 a.m.
In the bedroom, we called this morning and they haven't been seen since then. I need to get a good statement and figure it out. Call from again. Can you copy there? I think your portable the body. Was that you I heard on here that was going to do a search of the residence again?
Audio.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. They were going to do the property and the residence again. Oh, yeah. Property and the residence again. Just that. Copy. And just for everyone's awareness, based on the profile, the children could have traveled at least 6 kilometers. So, keep that in mind. Those pieces of cloth started young for your awareness. Their media release has been put out a non-intrusive alert for consent of Victor Gavin. Perfect, thank you.
At 8 a.m. that morning, I've heard that reported twice throughout this dispatch, Friday, May 2nd, but then trying to piece together other reports claim the children were last seen at 10 a.m. I don't know where the confusion is coming in, but this happened at the home of these two people you're about to meet. You're going to see their interviews, the mom and the stepdad, who really isn't a stepdad. The mom calls him her
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. Full as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone, they're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now. But we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued, not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me.
Am I the asshole that I don't want to listen to that again? Probably. Oh well. Um, so if you know what, if Sunny goes live, I will change the time of my live stream, and also I still have not received the audio. So I mean, if I have to push it, I will push it, but just know that I am still working on it, although I was told that I would have access. So either way, if Sunny does a live stream, I'll watch for her time, and I will definitely plan mine around hers. No 8-hour live streams though, Sunny. Um, unless you do, and then I guess we'll do them together. And plus, I mean, it doesn't bother me. I'll do a replay, whatever. I don't want to sit there either. So again, this live stream link is in the chat, in the pins in the chat. I put Plunder's link in here. And also remember, Melissa's document also has links to all of the dispatch audio. Oh, I know. So in the first couple of weeks, actually, I believe right up until Belinda started speaking out, we had the wrong Cody Sullivan. Absolutely, we did. Absolutely, we did. Um, okay, so let's hit these starred comments. Because some of them I do have answers for. Considering they didn't bother to check with Janie prior to calling the cops, when did they find out they were playing outside? So this one, if you remember when Janie was on the show, I asked her about this. At what point did you inform Malaya and or Daniel you had just heard the kids? And she said, I don't think that I ever did. And then I asked Daniel about that, and I think he misunderstood the question, but he's like, yeah, no, Mom didn't tell me that. I don't recall her telling me that. But that begs the question then, how did Malaya know Saturday morning that the kids were outside playing? Did law enforcement tell her that? I don't know. But that is something that I asked Janie, and she does not think that she informed Malaya that. So how did she know? If you didn't get up, how would you know they were playing? Yes, okay. Just went over that. Yes, Sunny actually, the kids went to bed wearing the same clothes. Sunny said that, predicted that, as did she, I believe, on the days missed from school. And make no mistake, we did not know that at that time. We didn't know that. So how does she know they're outside? Janie says she didn't tell her. So it's a question. So 7 days into the kids being missing, and they still hadn't released the Dollarama video. Correct. Correct. Because I was one of the people that thought, well, they were probably missing for days. Leaving out Happy from Happy Go Lucky is so telling. Telling, but weird. I picked up on that too, but I did talk about it a couple of weeks ago. Maybe it was an expression she'd never heard before, but heard somebody else use it, and she just misspoke, like misquoted, you know? But yet, odd. Very odd. We have to laugh. Levity stops us from drowning in darkness, right? And this was in response to me saying, it's not a funny case. Obviously, I'm not amused by the case, but some of the shit that I said back then, I thought it was said Dogs had hit at the end of the driveway. We need to find out who said that. And somebody said it's in the dispatch audio, so I guess I have some homework to do. Because for the longest time I thought, okay, Daniel told me that, but no, I hadn't talked to Daniel at this point. Um, Jack and Lily were the innocent victims. We demand justice. I agree. I think the reason they don't believe abduction because they have viewed the cameras and they don't see any strange vehicles. Could be, but why not tell us that? Just in case they missed one? And a year later, she still has not said she loves them and misses them. Not publicly. Car lights would be picked up at night. hmm Not that they were abducted, but they could have been. Says this with zero fear. It's pretty matter of fact. No one's seen her instant reaction because only Daniel was there at that moment. I've been following since the start, and my opinion has not really evolved. I still believe they're all responsible. Yeah. A lot of people are with you. Maybe she really doesn't know exactly what happened. It's possible. It's 100% possible. Just like it's 100% possible that Daniel doesn't have a clue. But, I mean, when you get so tunnel vision, you believe you know what happened. After a year, I think it's really hard to open your mind. Last few days, not last couple days, May 1st, in my opinion, they went missing. Yeah, that was definitely, that was something. I think Daniel warned Malaya the other day in Char's Live to keep her mouth closed. I heard that many, many, many times, so I did go back and I listened to that, the answer to that question, and I can see how it did come off that way. I don't know what else to say because I understand where people are getting that from. It's on the list of shit to clarify. I honestly feel they would never be found if we were relying on the RCMP. Good luck. My faith is draining. I don't know. I know a lot don't agree with me, but I don't think Daniel is responsible. Maybe he knows, but I don't feel he had a part in this. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. Compare Daniel's face to his face today. He does look much healthier. You're allowed to have your own opinion. Absolutely. Don't know why I started that, Seaweed, but thank you for saying that. Daniel does not even look like the same person. For Malaya, I don't know, but I do know, in my opinion, it's a very strange way for a mother to not plead and leave the property knowing there's a chance your kids are out there. I know I couldn't, nor could I sleep. In my opinion, the only thing super odd about this case is the lack of arrests. These interviews are so sus. It's surprising they haven't figured out what happened yet. I'm with you that it's surprising they haven't been able to rule anything out yet. My faith in them is dwindling because of that very thing. We've only seen the edited versions of Daniel's and Malaya's speaking early on. Edited. Yeah. Very. The stress in his face is genuine. What worries him is questionable. Like, emotion is emotion, and we have no idea to know where it comes from. Yeah, Dodie, I know. Thank you. I still flip-flop on what could have happened. No. There are certain aspects of my opinions back then at the beginning that are pretty firm still. But I will say that I've just decided for myself and have to constantly remind myself that I don't know any of these people. I wasn't there. And I just, it's not a matter of, I don't want to, be wrong because how it'll look on me, because I will sit here and play my stupid shit day after day after day. It's like, people should evolve. People make mistakes. People can be wrong, but it's the way we present our opinions that matters at the end of the day. But it's not that I'm afraid to be wrong, and that's why I won't come out and have a cemented theory of what I think happened. It's because, and this might be selfish, I don't want to have to apologize to anybody. When this all comes out in the wash, I don't want to be the one, because I know myself and I know I would. I don't want to have to come out and apologize to anybody for helping ruin their lives. So I just prefer to not. But for the most part, no, I don't. Some of the things, sure. They want other people's phones, Daniel. It will allow them to see a bigger picture of everyone surrounding the kids. They probably already did a full extraction of your devices. I don't know what that is in response to. There's always a slight margin that so many disregarded in the beginning that neither Malia or Daniel knew what happened because someone came in and took them, allegedly signs of that theory. I agree, but law enforcement doesn't seem to think so. And if I'm wrong on that, and they haven't ruled out an abduction, then that right there is something that the investigators desperately need to clear up for the public. Because if it is still an option that they could have been abducted, then people need to be searching for their little faces from coast to coast instead of glued on YouTube waiting for the next bit of drama or, leakage of information. You know what I mean? We need to be watching for the kids. And I know all of us say we are, but are we? Like if there was an Amber Alert put out, like I don't know. I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to get across, that we're the mass majority of us are pretty sure that the kids are no longer with us. And so the abduction theory, it goes to the wayside because we're pretty sure that they're not somewhere else walking around. Now, if the investigators would come out and correct us on that and say, no, it's still a possibility, then maybe your mindset would change and you would be looking for the kids, like keeping your eye out. I don't know. And maybe maybe we would notice them anyway. Like, I don't know. But I still think it's important for them to clarify that. I don't know. Daniel, did you see the FedEx driver trial? Do you think a snatch and grab could be a possibility now? I don't know if you saw that trial, but I never thought it was out of the realm of possibility myself. After I got over myself and realized that I don't know shit about shit. Maybe they were abducted, but everybody's like, no, chances are so unlikely, for sure. But lightning strikes, so Peaches, same here. A lot of people don't understand rural Nova Scotia, and it seems to lead a lot of misunderstandings and judgment that has nothing to do with the case. Fair. Yeah. Giving him the benefit of the doubt until all the inconsistencies started, he should have not talked so much. Yeah. And this one, Daniel coming on YouTube has kept the case alive. I don't know. It's a sign of character and integrity. I think there's a fine line there, and Daniel's been riding it for a very long time with public opinion. And like I said earlier, I've been I've been passive aggressively telling Daniel to stop talking for a long time, but again, when he stops talking, what happens? Nobody talks. It would have been Daniel's best interest to say nothing. Agreed. If I don't talk, who will? No one close to the kids. I think we went over that one. Daniel has taken a lot of punches whilst bio mom and dad remove themselves. I cannot say who is guilty because no evidence to point at anyone. Julie, my thoughts exactly. After hearing the recent news of that guy in the black truck trying to lure those 2 children with chocolate, I'm leaning towards abduction by a predator. They are everywhere. It's terrifying how many monsters are roaming our streets. They need to change the criteria for an Amber Alert. And also on my community page, there is a petition. It's under Darius McDougall's case, but there's a petition for Amber Alert reform in Canada. If you haven't signed it yet, I highly, highly recommend signing it because you're right. Sorry, I had some other shit pop up on my screen. I couldn't see anything. So yeah, I'm at 3 hours, you guys. I think this is crazy. This is a crazy case, and there really are no words to describe how, and I can't speak for any other channel, but there are no real words to explain how it feels to have so many opposing opinions in your head and hear so much information from so many different people that I had absolutely no choice but to shut every other channel out because everybody has their own bits and pieces of information, and there's no possible way that you can take everything and put it together and figure out what happened here. Like, if the RCMP and major crimes and these investigators haven't been able to do it yet, we're not going to be able to make sense of it in our heads. But what we can do is we can take the information that we get and we can discuss it and try to weed out the complete and utter bullshit. And just, like I said, keep Jack and Lily's faces and names out there. That's really all that I am interested in doing with this case. I'm trying to open something before I get going because I want to show you guys something and explain something because this is bizarre. I have no idea what this is. Before I say goodbye. Share screen, right? This one. Okay. So I always try to make sure I thank people for being here, for participating in chat, and also for any donations or memberships or anything like that. But YouTube allegedly has come up with something new. And I was sent a screenshot of it. Root Strength sent Happy Mother's Day. Amy 0077 sent Sparkles. And Shy sent Floating Heart. Now, I know what these things are like on TikTok, but I didn't see them here. I didn't see them on my StreamYard. So, you know. I don't know what they are, but they're adorable. I love them. I don't know what they mean, but thank you for the gifts. I so appreciate everybody. I know I forgot the poll last stream. I explained to y'all earlier today what's going on. I apologize for my absent-mindedness. That is hyper right now. It's worse than my regular Dory personality. But I did type in that the winner of the poll was who cares? Any search helps. That was the winner of the poll. Okay. Doesn't this, I mean, I wouldn't have said it like that, Lori, but I agree with you in that all of the, and I don't like using this word, but it's a word, but all of the shenanigans that has been going on since day 2 of this case, it makes it so difficult to stay grounded and to remember that these are real people with real lives. These are 2 innocent children, 2 real innocent children who have been lost. And it's not just content. It's not an excuse to attack or condescend or bully. These are real lives that have been completely ripped apart. And I don't care if I'm talking about Daniel or Malaya, Cindy, Janie, any of them. These are real people, and this is a real life. I don't even like to use the word story. And it makes it super hard to remember that because you're right, Lori. So as long as we do what we can to keep the kids' names and faces out there, open conversation, it's not going to be respectful all the time. I understand that. I did my best, but it's a losing battle, so I give up. White flag. I mean, I will take my gloves off when needs to be. But yeah, I'm not accusing anybody of bullying. That's not what I meant, Lori. I hope you didn't take it that way. Talking about with everybody, the whole case. And that's one of the things that I do appreciate most about Daniel speaking the other day. We got to learn things, stuff about Jack and Lily when they were here before they went missing. We got to learn their favorite colors. We got to learn that Lily enjoyed sauerkraut. Weird. Unboxing videos, which I love. I'm obviously not LOL dolls, but unboxing videos are it's one of my aggression scrolling deep dives that I'll do. I will sit on an unboxing video for hours. So I get that. We got to learn that Jack enjoyed watching certain shows about bugs, dinosaurs, whatever. The stuff that we had been asking to know about these little babies. So I do appreciate that. And I appreciate the willingness to answer questions, clarify things now. And I understand it's hard to empathize with certain people based on your own opinions. I do get it. But I'm not here to try to change anybody's mind, right? It is what it is. I have to live with myself once this is all said and done because my kids aren't missing. Um, um, I I do have other questions that I want to ask Daniel, but not today. I am exhausted. And anyways, thank you, Sunny, for all the live streams and for all the work that you put into this case. And I hope that you've had a good break, time away, and I do hope that you come back soon. And with that, you guys, I'll keep working on tomorrow, But like I said, I might have to put it off, but I'll do my best. I'll do my very best. Char, I've not heard 1 hour from any family members saying more apart from dolls, dinosaurs, Jack being quiet than Lily. Yeah, well, we got a little bit more than that out of Daniel the other day. So I appreciate everybody being here. And again, thank you, Roots, and everybody else. Roots and Gran, of course. Baby Monkey, thank you. It's very nice. Appreciate everybody. I won't be I just won't be here all the time. I'm not gonna force myself to come and do a live stream if I'm too tired, if that makes sense. Okay. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still gonna be here. So we will yes, and if I end up not doing the stream tomorrow, happy Mother's Day, everybody. Honestly. Happy Mother's Day. Have a great night, everybody.
We're going down.